Chapter 1. Kanglin Empire, Chaoyang Ancient City, Demon Beast Mountain Range. Ha! 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 A severely injured young man was panting heavily as he struggled to run forward. His legs were sore and swollen. In the end, he could not hold on any longer and knelt on the ground weakly. At this moment, a young man appeared in front of him. "Little trash, why aren't you running anymore? Try running again if you dare." The young man mocked. "Since you can't run anymore, I'll send you down to accompany your two old men." Jiyu closed his eyes in despair. His lips curled into a self-mocking smile. So what if he died? It wasn't his first time dying anyway. However, at this moment, an emotionless and cold voice rang in his mind. Ding! It's detected that the owner is in danger. The 999 times cultivation system has been activated in advance. The moment the cold voice rang, Jiyu suddenly felt that his body was filled with energy. To be precise, he recovered from his severely injured state to his peak state in an instant. It was the system. Jiyu opened his eyes abruptly. As a transmigrator, how could he not know about the system? With hope rekindled, he did not plan to wait for death like this. The reason he knew about the system was that he had transmigrated from Earth to the mysterious heavenly continent 16 years ago. This was a fantasy world where the strong preyed on the weak, and the strong preyed on the weak. He did not have many memories of his birth parents. He was adopted by an ordinary family in Chaoyang Ancient City when he was young. He thought that he would be able to make a name for himself in this world. Who would have thought that the system would only be activated when he reached 18 years old? Not only that, his talent was extremely mediocre and his physique was almost useless. Just yesterday, he coincidentally obtained a miraculous elixir that could change one's aptitude. However, the young master of the Chun family, one of the three major families in Chaoyang Ancient City, found out about it. Overnight, his family was destroyed. His adoptive parents lost their lives in order to help him escape. Jiyu could not help but tremble at the thought of that scene. He clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes turned gloomy. He wanted to grind his teeth into pieces. However, Chun Yin wanted to eliminate the root of the problem. He kept running, and Chun Yin's subordinates kept chasing after him. When he reached the Demon Beast Mountain, he was finally exhausted. Fortunately, he activated the system in time. Otherwise, he would have died just now. Jiyu calmed down the hatred in his heart. The most important thing now was to survive. He dodged to the side and dodged a dagger coming at him from the front. Ding! Master has taken a step forward. Basic movement technique experience gained. Won by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the initial success stage. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the mastery realm. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the dominating refinement realm. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic movement technique has successfully broken through to the greater height stage. Detected that the basic movement technique experience bar is full, automatically upgraded to the yellow rank low-grade profound skill soaring wind steps. At this moment, a series of voices bombarded his mind one after another, bombarding him until he was in a daze. He felt a large amount of information regarding the soaring wind steps suddenly surge into his mind, and he inexplicably grasped this profound movement skill. This system is too awesome. Jiyu's eyes were full of disbelief. He had just dodged a dagger, and he had mastered a yellow-level skill. How could there be such a miraculous thing in the world? But he immediately recovered. It was not the time to be distracted. He could lose his life if he was not careful. The one who attacked Jiyu with the dagger was a young man in his 20s. Seeing that he missed, the young man was surprised. "Oh, I didn't expect you to have the strength to dodge. But what's the use? If Qinshaoya wants you to die, you will die today." The young man's eyes flashed with malice. The dagger went towards Jiyu's neck again. Chapter 2. Although he didn't know why this trash still had the strength to resist, This trash only had a cultivation at the third level of the body tempering stage and was now heavily injured. He could casually kill this trash. Jiyu's gaze was gloomy as he stared at the young man before him. He instinctively dodged and easily dodged the attack. However, he didn't dodge to the end this time. When he moved to the side of the young man, he clenched his right fist and instantly smashed it towards the young man's abdomen. At the instant his fist smashed out, that icy cold and emotionless voice sounded out once again. Ding! Master has struck a fist. Basic fist technique obtained experience. Won by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Basic fist technique has broken through to the perfection of perfection. Ding! Detected that basic fist technique experience is full, automatically upgraded to yellow rank low-grade profound skill, inch force fist. Similar to before, a large amount of knowledge instantly gushed into Jiyu's mind. He practically learned the inch force fist by himself. He was instantly pleasantly surprised. Earlier, he casually took a step and obtained a yellow rank movement technique. Now, he casually struck a punch and obtained a yellow rank fist technique. An expensive, profound skill was actually so easily obtained in front of him. Was there anything more awesome than this in the world? At the same time, on the other side, because Jiyu's speed was truly too fast, the young man didn't even have time to react before his abdomen was heavily struck by Jiyu's basic fist technique that had already reached the perfection of perfection stage. Cough. The young man only felt a burst of intense pain in his abdomen. He couldn't help but bend down and cover his abdomen with both hands. His expression was unsightly, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He didn't dare believe that this trash's speed was actually so fast, and was even able to injure him, who had a higher cultivation. The young man looked at Jiyu with a savage expression. How did this trash become so strong? Jiyu laughed coldly. It's your turn now. His gaze turned cold as he instantly executed the inch force fist and smashed it towards the young man without holding back in the slightest. Ding! Master has executed the inch force fist. Inch force fist obtained experience. 20 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank inferior profound skill inch force fist has successfully broken through to initial success. With a muffled bang, the young man was sent flying 1 or 2 meters away. Jiyu coldly looked at the unconscious young man at her feet. There was no trace of pity in her eyes. Then, he walked to a rock and sat down. Ha! Jiyu raised his head slightly and sighed. The system was finally activated. He no longer had to endure the humiliation of others. A sinister light flashed across his eyes. With this system, he must kill that dog, Chun Yin. At this moment, he recalled the system's performance just now. It seemed that no matter what he did, he would receive 999 times experience enhancement. The system's name was also called the 999 times cultivation system. Suddenly, a thought rose in his mind. Since that was the case, would practicing martial arts also give him 999 times more experience? In order to prove her conjecture, Jiyu couldn't wait to start cultivating. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, he quickly entered a meditative state. A martial artist needed profound qi to practice martial arts. Profound qi was an illusory thing between heaven and earth. He was absorbing profound qi from heaven and earth. It flowed from the top of his head into his body, then flowed through his meridians and finally gathered in his dantian. At this moment, Jiyu had already started cultivating for more than half a minute. However, he still didn't hear the system's notification. He couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. But very quickly, he felt relieved. After all, the system was already awesome enough. If practicing martial arts could give him 999 times experience enhancement, then it would be ridiculously awesome. However, just as Jiyu was about to give up on cultivating, the system's notification suddenly sounded. Chapter 3. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation EXP gained. 1 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the third level of the body-tempering realm. Jiyu's body suddenly trembled. His eyes were filled with both joy and shock. It turned out that he had to cultivate for a full minute to get the 999 times experience enhancement. He almost gave up. Furthermore, his martial cultivation had a breakthrough just like that. This was too terrifying. Before this, he had been stuck at the early stage of the third level of the body-tempering realm for 2 to 3 months. Now, he only needed 1 minute to break through. This is too awesome. Jiyu was wild with joy. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before he could find Chunyin for revenge. Then, he continued to cultivate his martial arts. With the 999X cultivation system, breaking through was as easy as eating and drinking tea for him. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the fourth level of the body-tempering realm. After about 2 hours, Jiyu directly broke through 5 stages. His cultivation rose from the middle stage of the third level of the body-tempering realm to the middle stage of the fourth level of the body-tempering realm. If this kind of terrifying cultivation speed were to spread, it would definitely shock the entire Chaoyang ancient city and even the Kanglan Empire. However, he wasn't a fool. He couldn't reveal this kind of information. Otherwise, he would attract a lot of trouble and even get himself killed. It was already late, so Jiyu started to leave. On the way out of the Demon Beast mountain range, Jiyu encountered a few first-grade demonic beasts. He killed them and collected some demonic beast materials. Human martial artists were divided into the body-tempering realm, defensive realm, Tongxian realm, spirit profound realm, and so on. There were a total of 4 types of demonic beasts in the Demon Beast mountain range. They were divided into first-grade to fourth-grade demonic beasts. First-grade demonic beasts corresponded to body-tempering realm martial artists. Second-grade demonic beasts corresponded to defensive realm martial artists, and so on. While hunting demonic beasts, soaring wind steps, and inch force fist had also been strengthened to the mastery level. Minor success, mastery, perfection, and great perfection. These are the 4 realms of Xian techniques. After leaving the Monster Beast mountain range, he stopped at a small town outside the Monster Beast mountain range and found a grocery store. During this trip, he had obtained a lot of demon beast materials. He planned to exchange them for some gold coins. Gold coins were the universal currency of this world. In other words, it was money. The shopkeeper sitting behind the counter wanted to receive the guest, but when he saw the young man covered in wounds and blood, he couldn't help but be stunned. He had stayed here for many years and had seen many heavily injured martial cultivators. However, this was the first time he had seen someone who could still be so lively despite being heavily injured. Jiyu didn't say a word and directly put the sack of demonic beast materials in front of the counter. The shopkeeper came back to his senses and opened the sack to take a look. These demonic beast materials are worth about 90 gold coins in total. I'll give you 100 gold coins. All right. Jiyu nodded slightly and left the grocery store with a small cloth bag containing 100 gold coins. However, just as he stepped out of the grocery store, he happened to pass by 2 people who came in from outside. Jiyu took a glance and found that it was a girl in a red dress and a maid holding a sword. The girl in the red dress was elegant and had unforgettable facial features. Jiyu recognized the girl in the red dress. It seemed that she was Jiang Yuechu, the daughter of the city lord of Chaoyang ancient city. Moreover, she was undoubtedly the first genius. It was said that her cultivation had reached the defensive mystic realm. However, even if this girl was strong, he wouldn't have much of a reaction. After all, for him, practicing martial arts was almost as simple as eating and drinking tea. It was only a matter of time before he surpassed the first genius. Although this girl was a rare beauty, his soul wouldn't be taken away. He just casually glanced at her and no longer paid attention to her. After a while, the maid holding the sword looked back at the young man who was gradually disappearing. "What's wrong?" the girl in the red dress asked with an elegant voice. "Nothing. I just feel that the young man is a bit special. He was injured so badly, but still managed to come out of the Monster Beast mountain range alive." The maid holding the sword answered truthfully. Chapter 4. Chaoyang Ancient City, Lin Family Mansion. Now that Jiyu's family was ruined, he could only go to the Lin family. The Lin family was one of the three great families in Chaoyang Ancient City, and their influence was on par with the Chun family. A year ago, in order to share the burden of the family, he ran to the Lin family to become a servant and listen to orders. He could also stay here. However, he didn't want to stay here any longer. He planned to find a new place to live because he was a servant in the Lin family and had to listen to orders at any time. How could he accept this? However, as one of the three great families, the Lin family had a great reputation in Chaoyang Ancient City and had detailed records of everyone in the mansion. If he left the Lin family without a word, it would be difficult for him to do anything in Chaoyang Ancient City in the future. Therefore, he came back to the Lin family, this time to go through the procedures to leave the Lin family. Not long after, Jiyu came to a hall. A year ago, he was taken in by the Lin family here. If he wanted to go through the procedures to leave the Lin family, he had to go here as well. Of course, only solitary martial artists could go through the procedures. Members of the Lin family couldn't leave so easily. I want to go through the procedures to leave the Lin family, Jiyu said to an old man in front of him. The old man sized up Jiyu, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. I remember that you came to my Lin clan a year ago, and now you've broken through to the 5th level of the body tempering stage. He could see that this young man's cultivation was at the 5th level of the body tempering stage. He remembered that when this young man first came to the Lin family, he was only at the 2nd level of the body tempering stage. It had only been a year, but his cultivation had improved so much. He couldn't help but be amazed by this young man's martial talent. His gaze gradually became more serious. However, the old man didn't know that this was Jiyu's cultivation that had just broken through today. Yes, Jiyu nodded slightly. He wasn't surprised that the old man could see through his cultivation. This was because he had heard that this old man's cultivation level was at least at the 5th level of the defensive profound realm. An expert with such strength could easily see through his true cultivation level. The old man thought for a moment and said, I think I know why you want to leave the Lin family. You probably don't want to continue being a servant in the Lin family. That's right, Jiyu replied. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. This old man was quite smart. He had guessed the reason why he wanted to leave the Lin family immediately. Actually, you don't have to leave the Lin family. Now that your cultivation has reached the 5th level of the body tempering stage, I can raise your status to the same level as those ordinary disciples. Moreover, you won't be restricted by the Lin family. The old man said. It was because of this kind of talent that he wanted to keep in the Lin family. If it were an ordinary person, he wouldn't even bother to say a word. This attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Usually, the elders rarely spoke, giving them the impression that they were serious and taciturn. They rarely saw the elders speak so politely to others. They couldn't help but guess who this young man was. After hearing the old man's words, Jiyu thought for a moment and respectfully said, Then I'll have to trouble Elder. The reason why he wanted to leave the Lin family was because he felt uncomfortable with the status of a servant. Since he could get rid of his status as a servant and not be restricted by the Lin family, there was nothing wrong with continuing to stay in the Lin family. Then, from today onwards, you're no longer a servant. If you encounter any trouble, this token can prove your identity. As he spoke, the old man took out a white token and gave it to Jiyu. Thank you, Elder. After receiving the command medallion, Jiyu bowed and left the place. He returned to his residence. It was a very simple and ordinary house, but he was used to it. Jiyu turned around and closed the door. Then, she began to study the 999 times cultivation system. The 999 times cultivation system is so awesome. There should be many functions that I haven't discovered yet. Based on the current situation, walking can strengthen one's movement technique. One punch can strengthen one's fist technique, and 1 minute of cultivation can increase one's experience by 999 times. Then, according to reason, one kick can strengthen one's leg technique, One slap can strengthen one's palm technique, and so on. Jiyu muttered and tried to perform a high side kick. Chapter 5. Ding. Master kicked, basic leg technique, gained experience. Won by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Basic leg technique has broken through to peak of perfection. Ding. Basic leg technique gained experience. Automatically upgraded to inferior yellow rank, profound skill, tempest kick. Sure enough, as Jiyu expected, a casual kick was able to strengthen his leg technique by 999 times. Just as he was about to continue experimenting, a series of soft knocks suddenly came from outside the door. Young Master, the elder sent me to remind you that you can receive your salary today. Hearing the voice from outside the door, Jiyu immediately pulled his attention away from the system. I understand. Jiyu responded, and the person outside the door left. Not long after, Jiyu received some gold coins and 3 elixirs. This was the salary he could receive every month. Today just so happened to raise his status. Otherwise, as a servant in the past, he would not be able to receive anything. After returning to his room, Jiyu sat on the bed and looked at the 3 elixirs in his hand. These 3 elixirs were all gradeless elixirs, small strength pills. Although their value was not high, they were suitable for body-tempering stage martial artists to consume. I wonder if consuming these elixirs can also increase my experience by 999 times. Jiyu pondered as he threw one of the small strength pills into his mouth. At this moment, the familiar sound of the system notification sounded. Ding! Master has consumed a small strength pill. Experience gained in martial arts cultivation. 100 * 999x. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 5th level of the body tempering stage. Feeling the surge of profound energy in his body and breaking through 2 stages, Jiyu was immediately overjoyed. He discovered that all the effects of a small strength pill were instantly absorbed by him, and he did not feel any discomfort. This should be the system's credit. Then, Jiyu simply swallowed the remaining 2 small strength pills together. After a moment, he originally thought that he could directly break through to the 6th level of the body tempering stage, but he was just a little bit short and stopped at the peak of the 5th level of the body tempering stage. However, he did not feel disappointed. He was very satisfied with the effects of the pills. Just 3 gradeless pills allowed him to break through 3 small realms in an instant. Jiyu thought to herself, tomorrow, I'll go to the Demon Beast Mountain range to hunt more demon beasts. Although his strength was not bad now, there was still a big gap between him and the Chun family's eldest young master, Chun Yan. He remembered that Chun Yan's cultivation had reached the 9th level of the body tempering stage, and he possessed various yellow rank profound skills. If he were to encounter Chun Yan now, he would still be unable to contend against him. Therefore, he had to increase his cultivation as soon as possible. Currently, the fastest way to increase his cultivation was to consume pills, but pills were more expensive. With the gold coins he had on him right now, he couldn't buy many pills, so he had to go to the Demon Beast Mountain range to hunt for more gold coins. 10 miles away from Chaoyang Ancient City, there was a place called the Monster Mountain Range. It was one of the most dangerous places in the entire Kanglan Empire. The Demon Beast Mountain Range, as its name suggested, contained many demon beasts and was extremely dangerous. However, other than demonic beasts, there were also all kinds of heaven and earth treasures. Therefore, many young talents chose to come here to train. Today, Jiyu changed into a clean white shirt and entered the Demon Beast Mountain Range again. Although the Demon Beast Mountain Range was very dangerous, it was divided into 3 areas: the outer area, the inner area, and the core area. The outer region was the outermost ring. Usually, there were some rank 1 monsters. Even rank 2 monsters were extremely rare. The danger level was relatively low. Jiyu was planning to only hunt monsters in the outer region this time. With my current strength, as long as I'm careful in the outer regions, there shouldn't be any major problems. Jiyu murmured and strode into the Monster Beast Mountain Range. As he walked, he suddenly sensed a strong demonic aura coming from not far away. His expression suddenly changed, and he looked in the direction of the demonic aura. After passing through a patch of grass, he saw a pack of crimson-black demon wolves resting there. There were about a dozen of them. Ji could tell at a glance that these crimson-black demon wolves were all rank 1/3 to rank 4 demonic beasts. They were not much of a threat to him. Without much hesitation, he directly used the movement technique, high wind steps, and rushed over. Chapter 6. Ding! Master used soaring wind steps. Soaring wind steps gained experience. 20 by 999 times. Ding! Master used inch strength fist. Inch strength fist gained experience. 20 by 999 times. First, the inch strength fist killed a crimson-black demon wolf, and the movement immediately woke up the rest of the crimson-black demon wolves. When they saw their companion killed, they all let out a low roar, which was to warn Ji. However, Ji completely ignored the warning of the crimson-black demon wolf and rushed to the second crimson-black demon wolf without stopping. The third, the fourth, in less than 10 minutes, the last crimson-black demon wolf was also killed by Ji with one punch. After killing all the crimson-black demon wolves, his soaring wind steps and inch-strength fist had also grown to the point of perfection. Then, after harvesting all the valuable materials on the crimson-black demon wolves' corpses, Ji continued to move forward. Half a day later, in the Demon Beast mountain range, Ji stood on the corpse of a demon beast that was beyond recognition, and he carried a heavy sack on his shoulder. In this half a day, he hunted a lot of demon beasts, and, as long as there were valuable materials, he put them into the big sack. Because the big sack was full and couldn't hold anything more, he planned to go out and sell this sack of demon beast materials first. This is too troublesome. Let's see if I can get a storage ring. Ji thought. If he had to carry a big sack every time he came to hunt demon beasts, and he had to go out and empty the sack from time to time, it would be too troublesome. At this time, he needed a small thing called a storage ring. The small storage ring had its own space, and almost anything could be put in it, and it was very convenient to use. It was just that the price of a storage ring was relatively expensive, and he wasn't sure if he could buy it. No matter what, let's go and clean up these demon beast materials first. Ji muttered to himself as he walked toward the exit of the Demon Beast mountain range. While walking, the system had been constantly strengthening his movement technique. Ji felt that his movement technique, soaring wind steps, would be strengthened to perfection soon, and he was very curious if the strengthened soaring wind steps would still be upgraded. After a long time, Ji walked out of the Demon Beast mountain range and came to the town she had been to before. It was still the same grocery store. At this time, the shopkeeper was taking a nap. Suddenly, he saw someone carrying a large gunny sack walk in. Sensing that business was coming, he instantly woke up. Taking a closer look, he realized that it was the young man who had come again yesterday. The shopkeeper couldn't help but feel surprised. In less than a day, he had already collected so many materials. Selling materials. Ji placed the big sack in front of the shopkeeper and said coldly, "All right." The shopkeeper couldn't wait to open the sack. Immediately, the smell of blood rushed to his heart, but he seemed to be used to it. He didn't even frown. Because the sack was stuffed to the brim, some demonic beast materials fell out when it was opened. The shopkeeper looked at the countless demonic beast materials, his eyes filled with surprise. He couldn't help but ask the young man in front of him, "So many demonic beast materials. Did you hunt them all by yourself?" Ji nodded slightly, without any expression on her face. Hiss! The shopkeeper couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. According to the estimation of these demonic beast materials, the young man in front of him had hunted at least 20 or 30 first-rank demonic beasts, and it only took him one day. To have such strength at such a young age, he was probably a genius of a big family. Thinking of this, the shopkeeper suddenly became respectful. These demonic beast materials are worth a total of 670 gold coins. I'll give you 700 gold coins. How about it? He took out a large bag of gold coins from under the counter and waited for the young man in front of him to agree. Okay, Ji nodded. The price was reasonable, and he was given a few extra gold coins, so he naturally accepted it. The shopkeeper immediately handed the large bag of gold coins to Jiyu, and then asked, "Then besides selling these materials, does young master want to buy anything else?" Jiyu said, "Do you have a storage ring here? How much is the price?" "I do have a storage ring. Does young master want a cheaper one or a more expensive one?" The shopkeeper was ready to take out a storage ring to show Jiyu. Chapter 7. A few minutes later, a man wearing a black robe that covered his face walked out of the grocery store. It was Jiyu. In addition to spending 300 gold coins to purchase an inferior first-grade storage ring, he also bought a black robe. He checked the storage ring with his spiritual power and found that it was about the size of a thatched cottage. As for why he bought the black robe, it was because he was not strong enough to fight against Chunyin, so it was necessary to hide his identity. Ji walked back to Chaoyang Ancient City. He did not plan to go back to the Lin Mansion, but to the place where he could trade pills. Not long after, a magnificent building appeared in front of Jiyu. This building was called the Chaoyang Branch. It was a branch of the Alchemy Guild. It was also the place where pills were traded in Chaoyang Ancient City. In this world, there was a rather special profession called the alchemist. They were able to refine all kinds of pills that were similar to pills. There were many types of medicinal pills. There were medicinal pills that could assist in cultivation, medicinal pills that could restore xianqi, medicinal pills that could heal injuries, and so on. Pills were so magical that the Alchemy Guild had always had a high status. They were special existences that all the major forces were willing to pay a price to recruit. However, not everyone could become an Alchemy Guild. To be precise, there was less than 1 in 10,000 people who could become an Alchemy Guild. To become a well-respected Alchemy Guild, one had to have strong spiritual power and talent in alchemy. The Chaoyang branch in front of him was a branch of the Alchemy Guild that was set up for all the Alchemy Guild in Chaoyang Ancient City. As for why it was called a branch, it was because the Alchemy Guild was located in all the ancient cities in the Kanglan Empire. However, the main branch only existed in the imperial city of the Kanglan Empire. The rest of the branches could only be considered branches. Speaking of which, it would be great if I could become an Alchemy Guild. Jiyu could not help but sigh as he looked at the Alchemy Guild branch in front of him. If he could become an alchemist, there would be many benefits to him. Most importantly, he would be able to refine pills for himself to consume. Coupled with the system's 999 times cultivation speed, his cultivation would soar as if he was on a plane. However, he was still self-aware, and this kind of laughable thought quickly sank in his heart. It wasn't that he hadn't tried to come into contact with the Tao of Alchemy before, but at that time, whenever he saw the Tao of Alchemy in those books, his eyes would become dizzy and he wouldn't be able to absorb it at all. Even if he gritted his teeth and continued to study, he wouldn't be able to comprehend it at all. It could be said that his talent in alchemy was almost as mediocre as his talent in martial arts. He had no chance of becoming an alchemist at all. Ji shook her head in self-mockery. Not wanting to think about these messy matters anymore, she quickly walked into the Alchemist Guild. The reason why he specially came here to trade for medicinal pills was because there were many black-hearted stores that sold defective or fake goods. He didn't want to be cheated, so it was best to come here to buy medicinal pills. However, at this moment, a commotion suddenly came from behind. Yu Shuyun actually appeared. Where? That beautiful woman is Yu Shuyun? Who would have thought that I would actually be able to see the alchemy genius Yu Shuyun with my own eyes today? I heard that there's going to be an alchemy class soon, and the lecturer is this young lady Yu. Otherwise, why would we be able to see her so easily? Hearing the commotion coming from the surroundings, Jiyu subconsciously turned around to take a look. He saw a beautiful woman in a white dress with exquisite features appear in the crowd. She was like the moon surrounded by stars, but the beautiful woman's expression was still cold. Jiyu found out that this beautiful woman was called Yu Shuyun from the words of the people around him. Although he had never seen this woman before, he recalled her identity as soon as he heard her name. The daughter of the Chaoyang branch's president, the #1 alchemy genius in Chaoyang Ancient City, and a rare genius that only appeared once in 100 years. These were all Yu Shuyun's reputation. Ji had stayed in Chaoyang ancient city for so many years, so he naturally heard of such a famous beauty. However, he only took a few glances and didn't continue to pay attention to Yu Shuyun. He admitted that this was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen in this world, but he was bent on revenge and vowed to kill Chunyan. After all, he and Yu Shuyun were not in the same world. Jiyu turned around calmly and continued to walk into the Chuyang branch. On the other hand, Yu Shuyun completely ignored the gazes and noises around her. She looked straight ahead and happened to see Ji Yu standing at the entrance of the Chuyang branch. Ji Yu glanced at her and turned around, which seemed to have attracted her attention. Chapter 8. Ji Yu walked into the Chuyang branch and came to a hall. This was his first time in the Chaoyang branch, so he wasn't familiar with the place. Thus, he wandered around to see how he could buy pills. Not long after he wandered around, a pretty young woman called out to him, "Is there anything I can help you with?" Because Ji was wearing a black robe, the young woman couldn't see his face clearly. Of course, she didn't know that he was still a teenager. Ji glanced at the young woman and felt that she should be the receptionist of the Chuyang branch. Then he replied in a low voice, "I want to buy some pills." Hearing that he was here to buy pills, the receptionist was delighted and her attitude became more respectful. "Then I will lead the way for you." "Okay." Ji nodded slightly and followed behind the receptionist. Not long after, Ji followed the receptionist to an area with a lot of people. The function of the Alchemist Guild wasn't just to trade pills. There were many other functions other than that. Thus, there was a need for a special area to trade pills with customers. "Mister, this is the area for trading pills." The receptionist smiled respectfully. "Oh, right. Our Chuyang branch will be holding an alchemy class soon. It will be taught by Miss Yushuyan. If you're interested, you can spend 1,000 gold coins in these 2 days to get the qualification to attend the alchemy class for free." "Alchemy class? That's interesting." Ji thought for a moment and nodded. "I understand. I will see how it goes." In fact, he was already tempted. Since it was a free qualification, why not give it a try? It wasn't difficult for him to accumulate 1,000 gold coins. Although he only had about 400 gold coins left, he just needed to go to the Demon Beast Mountain range again, and he would be able to earn the rest of the gold coins he was lacking. After that, Ji began to look for pills. He came to a small area that specialized in trading Tier 1 pills. All the counters in this area were filled with Tier 1 pills. However, first-grade medicinal pills were also divided into 3 grades: low grade, medium grade, and high grade. Low grade was the lowest, while high grade was the highest. Due to the high price of medicinal pills, you could only buy some low-grade medicinal pills with the 400 gold coins she currently had. "May I ask what kind of pills Mr. needs?" A woman in charge of this counter walked over and asked in a respectful tone. "Just give me a few low-grade Tier 1 medicinal pills that can help with my cultivation," Ji said after pondering for a moment. "All right." The woman immediately searched under the counter and found a small jade bottle with exquisite craftsmanship. She placed it in front of Ji and introduced, "This is the most commonly seen quenching body pill used to assist in cultivation. It's a first-grade pill. Please take a look, young master." Ji took the jade bottle and pinched the stopper open to take a look. He found a total of 4 pellet-sized quenching body pills inside. He then asked, "What's the price?" "This bottle of quenching body pills is sold for 400 gold coins," the woman replied. Ji was silent for a moment. His face hidden under the black robe had a slight bitter smile. However, he still took out a large bag of gold coins from his storage ring and handed it to the woman. "There's a total of 400 gold coins in here. Happy transaction." "Thank you, mister." The woman respectfully bowed. After that, Ji left the pill trading area. Buying a bottle of quenching body pills cost him 400 gold coins. Now that he didn't have many gold coins left, he naturally didn't need to continue to stay in the pill trading area. Ji walked towards the exit while looking at the bottle of pills in his hand. Such a small bottle only contained 4 quenching body pills. In other words, 1 quenching body pill would cost 100 gold coins. This made him feel somewhat pained. Fortunately, he had the 999X cultivation system. These 4 quenching body pills should be able to increase his cultivation by a lot. What kind of realm would he be able to reach? Jiyu endured the anticipation in his heart and quickly walked out of the Chuyang branch. Under normal circumstances, even if he only took 1 quenching body pill with a 999X cultivation system support, he would be able to break through in an instant. Although the quenching body realm's breakthrough wouldn't cause much of a commotion, he didn't want to break through in a place like the Chuyang branch where there were so many eyes. Not long after, Jiyu walked into a deserted alley and prepared to take the quenching body pill. He sat on a stone bench and opened the jade bottle. He poured out a quenching body pill and impatiently swallowed it. Chapter 9. Ding. Master has consumed a body-tempering pill. Martial Dao experience gained. 1,000 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Martial Dao cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the 6th level of the body-tempering stage. Jiyu's eyes flashed with surprise. The body-tempering pill actually increased his experience by so much. Not only did it allow him to break through to the 6th level of the body-tempering stage, but it also allowed him to reach the middle stage. If I consume the remaining 3 body-tempering pills, my martial Dao cultivation will at least break through to the 7th level of the body-tempering stage. With anticipation in his heart, Jiyu directly stuffed the remaining 3 body-tempering pills into his mouth. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to do what he did. He only dared to do so because he clearly knew that the pills didn't have any negative effects on him. Ding. Master has consumed a body-tempering pill. Martial Dao experience gained. 1,000 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Martial Dao cultivation has successfully broken through to the middle stage of the 7th level of the body-tempering stage. The 3 body-tempering pills successfully converted to 999 times the experience. Jiyu's martial Dao cultivation directly jumped 5 stages, breaking through from the middle stage of the 6th level of the body-tempering stage to the middle stage of the 7th level of the body-tempering stage in one go. Such an awesome effect could be said to have exceeded his expectations. Next, I'll continue to hunt demonic beasts in the Demon Beast Mountain range to earn gold coins. As long as I don't slack off, relying on this 999 times cultivation system, I'll probably be able to reach the defensive profound realm in less than 7 days. Jiyu muttered to himself. Once he broke through to the defensive profound realm, it meant that he had enough strength to take revenge on Chunyan. One day later, in the Demon Beast Mountain range. During this entire day, Jiyu madly searched for demonic beasts to hunt. With the fastest efficiency, he hunted 39 demonic beasts. At this moment, he was currently hunting 40 demonic beasts. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Inferior yellow rank, profound skill, soaring wind steps has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Inferior yellow rank, profound skill inch force fist has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding. Detected inferior yellow rank, profound skill, soaring wind steps has reached perfection. Automatically upgraded to intermediate yellow rank, profound skill, soaring cloud steps. Ding. It has been detected that the low yellow rank, profound skill, 1-inch punch has reached perfection and has been automatically upgraded to the middle yellow rank, profound skill, 7 punch. After killing the demonic beast in front of him with a single punch, Jiyu instantly heard a series of system notifications. He couldn't help but freeze in place. Automatically leveled up again, the 999X cultivation system gave him another surprise. In the mysterious heavenly mainland, there was a clear classification of mystical skills. From the weakest to the strongest, they were divided into 4 grades: yellow, mysterious, earth, and heaven. These 4 grades were further divided into 3 levels: lower, middle, and upper. Legend had it that there were even higher level mystical skills above the heaven rank. However, with his current knowledge, he had no way of knowing about them. After all, the highest level mystical skill in the entire ancient city of the rising sun was only a medium profound rank mystical skill. From the looks of it, it won't be long before it can automatically upgrade to a profound rank or even an earth rank profound skill. Jiyu was very excited. The ability of the 999X cultivation system was too awesome. After cutting off the valuable materials from the demonic beast's corpse, Jiyu put them into his storage ring. This is the 40th demonic beast. It's about time for me to go back, Jiyu muttered to himself as he walked out of the demonic beast mountain range. In fact, the storage ring could still hold a lot of things. However, he had to accumulate 1,000 gold coins in the Chaoyang branch in order to qualify for the free alchemy class. Today was the last day, so he had to go back first. Chapter 10. After leaving the demonic beast mountain range, Jiyu sold all the demonic beast materials and obtained a total of 1,300 gold coins. Adding the gold coins he had left from before, he now had 1,400 gold coins. After returning to the Chaoyang branch, he bought 3 bottles of body-tempering pills in the elixir trading area, spending a total of 1,200 gold coins. Ji thought for a moment and bought 2 more profound recovery pills. He didn't have much gold coins left. Profound recovery pills were a type of low-grade first-rank elixir. Its effect was to recover Xian Qi. In the demonic beast mountain range, he frequently used Xian Qi and needed a rest for a while to recover his Xian Qi after killing a few demonic beasts. Now that he had mastered a high-grade yellow rank intermediate rank Xian skill, the amount of Xian Qi required to use it would be much higher than a low-grade yellow rank intermediate rank Xian skill. Therefore, he had to prepare 2 profound recovery pills for emergency use. Mister, you've already spent more than 1,000 gold coins. This is a token. When the alchemy class starts tomorrow afternoon, Mr. can bring this token to the class. At this moment, the receptionist he saw last time walked over. She held the token in her hand and handed it to Jiyu. Jiyu took the token and put it in his pocket, then left the Chaoyang branch. This time, Jiyu planned to enter the demonic beast mountain range directly and start using pills to increase his cultivation. The alchemy class would only start tomorrow at the Chaoyang branch. Taking advantage of this time, he planned to continue tempering himself in the demonic beast mountain range. Jiyu walked to the outskirts of the demonic beast mountain range and sat down. He took off the black robe on his head and took out the 3 bottles of body-tempering pills from his storage ring. There were a total of 12 body-tempering pills in the 3 jade bottles. He felt that if he consumed these 12 body-tempering pills, he would be able to fly into the sky. Without thinking, he stuffed one pill after another into his mouth, as if he was eating candy. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 8th level of the body tempering stage. After continuously consuming 12 body tempering pills, Jiyu's cultivation base directly rose from the middle of the 7th level of the body tempering stage to the late stage of the 8th level of the body tempering stage. He increasingly felt that breaking through cultivation was as easy as eating and drinking tea. As long as he had enough gold coins to buy medicinal pills, he could easily break through. Who told him to have 999 times experience multiplier? After that, Jiyu began to hunt demonic beasts to earn gold coins. However, he had only taken a few steps when he heard the sound of an intense battle not far in front of him. He curiously walked up to take a look and saw a young girl in a pink dress, holding a thin sword and fighting with a huge black bear. This black bear, Jiyu's expression changed slightly. This was a brute force black bear. The brute force black bear was not only extremely powerful, but its speed was also extraordinary. Human martial artists of the same realm would not be able to gain the slightest advantage in front of the brute force black bear. It was one of the more difficult existences to deal with among the rank 1 monster beasts. The brute force black bear in front of him looked like it had just reached adulthood. Its cultivation base was around the 7th level of the rank 1 monster beasts, close to the 8th level of the rank 1 monster beasts. Although the young girl in Pink's cultivation had reached the 8th level of the body tempering stage, she was obviously at a disadvantage. She was constantly suppressed by the brute force black bear and was unable to escape. Jiang Yuexin resisted the brute force black bear's huge paw with all her might. Her heart was extremely vexed. She felt that her luck was really too bad today. She had just entered the Demon Beast mountain range, and she had already encountered such a difficult brute force black bear. It was fine if she couldn't win, but this brute force black bear's speed was extremely fast. She couldn't escape even if she wanted to, so she could only continue to fight with this brute force black bear. However, there wasn't much profound chi left in her body. She would soon die here. With every second that passed, Jiang Yuexin became more and more anxious. She didn't want to die in this place. At this moment, she suddenly saw a black figure from the corner of her eyes. She immediately turned her head to look and saw a youth in a black robe standing there. Jiang Yuexin instantly seemed to have grabbed onto a life-saving straw. She shouted loudly, "Hey, you over there, quickly come and help me." Chapter 11. The black-robed youth was naturally Jiyu, but he acted as if he didn't hear anything. Not only did he ignore Jiang Yuexin, he even turned around and walked away. It wasn't that he was cold-blooded and heartless, but the girl's commanding tone made him feel very uncomfortable. It gave him a strong feeling of superiority. This kind of person was probably some family's rude and unreasonable young lady. Why should he go and save such a thankless person? Seeing that the black-robed youth was about to leave, Jiang Yuexin immediately became anxious and shouted, "I'm the second young lady of the city lord's manor. My father is the city lord of Chaoyang Ancient City. How dare you not listen to me?" Jiyu couldn't help but laugh. Not only did this girl order him, she even wanted to threaten him. However, he didn't show any signs of turning around. Instead, his footsteps became faster and faster. Jiang Yuexin was infuriated by this scene. At this time, the brute force black bear slapped her again, causing her to stagger back a few steps. She finally couldn't hold back her pride and cried out, You bastard, hurry up and save me. I will give you a lot of rewards as long as you save me." Hearing the girl in pink sobbing, Jiyu finally stopped in her tracks. He turned around to look at the girl in pink and asked indifferently, "What rewards?" Originally, he didn't want to bother with this girl, but if this girl could give a suitable reward, he might be able to help. When Jiyu said this, Jiang Yuexin almost fainted from anger. At this time, this guy didn't hurry to save her and still had the mood to ask for rewards. However, seeing that the brute force black bear was about to close in again, Jiang Yuexin couldn't care less and hurriedly said, 1,000 gold coins, no, 5,000 gold coins. As long as you save me, I will give you 5,000 gold coins. As Jiang Yuexin was focused on talking to Jiyu, she didn't notice the bear's paw coming toward her. When she came back to her senses, it was too late. Looking at the huge bear paw in front of her, her eyes were filled with panic and despair. At this moment, she wanted to curse the black-robed youth countless times in her heart. At the same time, the corners of Jiyu's mouth curled up slightly. "Deal!" Before his voice died away, his figure had already disappeared from the spot. In the next moment, he appeared in front of Jiang Yuexin and extended a hand to block the brute force black bear's huge paw. Ding! Master used Soaring Cloud Steps. Soaring Cloud Steps experience gained. 50*999x. This was Jiyu's first time using the intermediate yellow rank Soaring Cloud Steps. The speed of the Soaring Cloud Steps did not disappoint him at all. Jiang Yuexin looked at Jiyu, who had suddenly appeared in front of her. Her delicate face couldn't help but reveal a trace of shock. This guy's speed was actually so fast. However, she quickly reacted and realized that he actually wanted to block the brute force black bear's attack with his bare hands. She immediately wanted to scold this guy for being an idiot. She originally thought that this guy could save her, but in the end, he was a brainless idiot. He actually dared to fight the brute force black bear with his bare hands. Wasn't this courting death? At the same time, the brute force black bear's face changed slightly. It was as if it wanted to laugh at this human in front of it for overestimating himself. In the next moment, Ji Yu's palm instantly clenched into a fist. Ding! Master used 7 strength fist. 7 strength fist experience gained. 50 asterisk 999x. Ji Yu's thin and small fist collided with the brute force black bear's huge paw, creating a huge contrast. However, the thin and small fist actually pierced through the huge paw, opening a fist-sized hole in the middle of the paw. Blood immediately sputtered out. Ji Yu's eyes flashed slightly. He quickly used soaring cloud steps to avoid the blood splattering out. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The intermediate yellow rank mystical skill Soaring Cloud Steps has successfully broken through to minor accomplishment. In the blink of an eye, Ji Yu appeared a few meters away. There wasn't a single trace of blood on his body. Jiang Yuexin was standing behind Ji Yu. After Ji Yu dodged, the brute force black bear's blood directly splashed onto her body, causing her pink dress to become extremely bright. However, she was already stunned by the scene that just happened. She didn't even realize that her body was covered in blood. She didn't dare to believe what she just saw. This seemingly weak young man actually pierced through the brute force black bear's paw with his bare hands? What kind of terrifying strength was required to do this? If it was her, not to mention her bare hands, even if she used the sword in her hand to slash at the brute force black bear, it would be very difficult to cause any effective damage to the brute force black bear. At most, she would only be able to create a wound that was neither deep nor shallow. Roar, roar, roar. Right at this moment, a furious roar suddenly woke her up. She saw that the brute force black bear in front of her had become extremely berserk. The intense pain caused it to enter a berserk state. Its eyes also became scarlet red. Jiang Yuexin temporarily couldn't care about the smell of blood on her body. Her first reaction was to quickly retreat. Right now, she couldn't withstand the attacks of the berserk brute force black bear at all. Ji Yu, who was standing a few meters away, couldn't help but frown. This brute force black bear actually mutated. This isn't going to be good. A berserk wild beast was the most terrifying. Not only did it not know pain, its battle strength also increased greatly. Ji Yu carefully considered for a moment and decided to retreat. This was because he didn't have much confidence in being able to solve this situation. He flashed to Jiang Yuexin's side and grabbed Jiang Yuexin's wrist to escape. Jiang Yuexin suddenly felt her wrist being grabbed by someone and couldn't help but cry out in alarm. Chapter 12. The violent brute force black bear roared as it chased after him. There was only one thought in its mind, and that was to tear the human in front of it into pieces. Seeing the brute force black bear chasing after him, Ji Yu planned to continuously use soaring cloud steps until he completely shook off the brute force black bear. After Ji Yu continuously used soaring cloud steps several times, he finally shook off the brute force black bear completely. At the same time, soaring cloud steps also improved to the mastery realm. He allowed a sigh of relief and gradually slowed down his footsteps. He couldn't help but rejoice that soaring cloud steps had broken through to the intermediate realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to shake off the brute force black bear so easily. Hurry up and let go of me. At this time, a delicate and angry voice sounded. Ji only felt that something in his hand was forcibly breaking free. It hurts. Jiang Yuexin rubbed her reddened wrist. Her eyes were foggy, and she was almost about to cry. She said coquettishly, "Really, you bastard don't know how to be tender to a woman. If I was tender to a woman, you would have died just now." Ji Yu said expressionlessly. I know, you're so inflexible," Jiang Yuexin complained. Just as Ji Yu was about to leave, he suddenly thought of something. He immediately stretched out a hand in front of Jiang Yuexin. "What are you doing?" Jiang Yuexin didn't react for a moment. "Do you even need to ask?" "Of course it's a reward," Ji Yu said indifferently. "Reward?" At this time, Jiang Yuexin finally understood what Ji Yu meant. She lowered her head slightly and asked in a deep voice, "You saved me purely for the reward?" "Yes." Ji Yu only spat out 2 words. At this time, Jiang Yuexin's mood was a little complicated. As the second miss of the City Lord's mansion, she had been worshipped since she was young. No one dared to disrespect her. If it had been anyone else, they would have risked their lives to save her in that situation. However, the black-robed youth in front of him had done it purely for the sake of the 5,000 gold coins. Jiang Yuexin reckoned that if she hadn't mentioned the reward at that time, this young man would definitely have left without even looking at her. His life was not as valuable as 5,000 gold coins. Jiang Yuexin was silent for a while before she said, "I don't like to bring too many things with me when I go out, so I only have 3,000 gold coins on me right now. I can only give you 3,000 gold coins first." As she spoke, she took out a few bags of gold coins from her storage ring. Sure, Jiyu kept the bags of gold into her storage ring and continued, "But you have to write me an IOU for the remaining 2,000 gold coins." "You rascal!" Jiang Yuexin was so angry that her shoulders trembled slightly. She was the dignified second miss of the City Lord's mansion. How could she owe a mere 2,000 gold coins? However, she could only comply with the other party's wishes for the time being and write him an IOU. This guy's strength was higher than hers, and this was the monster beast mountain range. She felt that with this guy's character, there was nothing he wouldn't dare to do. Ji took the IOU and glanced at it. When he saw the name Jiang Yuexin, he remembered that this girl seemed to have said that she was the second miss of the City Lord's mansion before. "You are the second miss of the City Lord's mansion, so your sister is the #1 genius?" Ji asked. "Yes, my sister is the #1 genius of martial arts in Chaoyang Ancient City, Jiang Yuechu." Suddenly, Jiang Yuexin smiled slyly and said, "What's wrong? You suddenly asked about my sister. Are you interested in her? Do you think it's possible?" Jiyu's expression didn't change at all, and he said lightly. After that, he turned around and left directly. The reward was about to be paid, so he should leave. Seeing this, Jiang Yuexin was stunned at first. Then she shouted, "Wait, don't leave so quickly. What else do you want?" Jiyu looked back at Jiang Yuexin and said, "Didn't you see this?" Jiang Yuexin instinctively almost said "this lady," but she realized this guy's character and quickly changed her words. "Didn't you see that I have no strength now?" "So?" Jiyu asked. This bastard, Jiang Yuexin, was angry and anxious, but she felt very embarrassed to say it directly. So she stammered, So, I want you to take me out of here." This was the first time that she took the initiative to ask for help from others, and she had never been treated like this before. It was really annoying. "Sorry, I don't want to take a burden, and I don't plan to leave the Monster Beast Mountain range so early." After that, Jiyu ignored Jiang Yuexin and walked forward by himself. Jiang Yuexin was so angry that she stamped her feet. This bastard was so ungentlemanly. She had already asked for so much, but this bastard not only didn't help, but also said that she was a burden. But although she was angry, Jiang Yuexin still didn't want to die in this place, so she could only follow Jiyu silently. There was almost no qi left in her body now, and she could lose her life if she met any monster. So she had no choice but to follow this bastard. She didn't stay idle and kept cursing this bastard behind Jiyu. Chapter 13. Jiyu had long noticed that Jiang Yuexin was shamelessly following behind him, but he still completely ignored her and focused on hunting the demonic beasts. Soon, they encountered a first grade 6 stage demonic snake, but it was instantly killed by Jiyu with a single punch. Ding! Master used 7 strength fist. 7 strength fist obtained experience. 50 * 999x. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank intermediate profound skill 7 strength fist has successfully broken through to initial success. Once again witnessing a demonic beast being killed by Jiyu's bare hands, Jiang Yuexin still felt extremely shocked. She felt that this guy either had a powerful physical strength or he knew some kind of powerful fist technique. At the same time, she was very curious about this guy's cultivation. "How high is your cultivation?" Jiang Yuexin couldn't help but ask. "Just a little higher than yours." Jiyu glanced at Jiang Yuexin and said indifferently. Hearing Jiyu's reply, Jiang Yuexin guessed that this guy must be a genius from some family, but she had never heard of a genius from a family with such a rigid personality. Ji Yu continued to look for demonic beasts to kill, while Jiang Yuexin silently followed behind him. After that, another 7-strength fist killed a demonic beast. Ji Yu felt that the Xian Qi in his body had already dried up. He immediately sat on a rock, took out a Xian Qi pill from his storage ring, and stuffed it into his mouth. Ding! Master has consumed an inferior grade, first-grade pill, Xian Qi pill. The Xian Qi recovery effect has increased by 999 times. The recovery effect of the Xian Qi recovery effect was actually increased by 999 times. This was out of Ji Yu's expectations. He only felt that the Xian Qi in his body had instantly recovered to its peak state. Did you just eat a Xian Qi pill? At this time, Jiang Yuexin came over and asked. Seeing the hope in Jiang Yuexin's eyes, Ji Yu vaguely had a bad premonition. This has nothing to do with you. You must have more Xian Qi pills. Can you give me one? Ji Yu didn't answer, but Jiang Yuexin directly insisted that it was a Xian Qi pill. No, I only have one Xian Qi pill left. How can I give it to you? Ji Yu somewhat helplessly shook his head. TCH stingy. Jiang Yuexin snorted and stopped pestering him about the profound returning pill. She knew that it was useless to continue pestering this guy. Ding! Congratulations, Master, for successfully breaking through to the mastery level of the intermediate yellow, rank 7-strength fist. Along the way, Ji Yu relied on the 7-strength fist to kill many demonic beasts, and the 7-strength fist gradually broke through to the next realm. Jiang Yuexin saw Ji Yu cut off the materials of the demonic beast's corpse every time he killed one. She couldn't help but ask, "Do you keep killing demonic beasts to earn gold coins?" "Yes." Ji Yu nodded. "Which family are you from? What's your name?" Jiang Yuexin asked. "Lin family, a nobody," Ji Yu casually said. He basically had no scruples now, and there was nothing to hide. Lin family. And what do you mean by a nobody? Jiang Yuexin naturally knew of the Lin family, one of the 3 great families, but she couldn't understand why he called himself a nobody. Her martial arts talent was one of the best in Choyang Ancient City, and this guy was obviously much stronger than her, but he called himself a nobody. Then what was she? It's the literal meaning. Ji said indifferently. Forget it. I guess you just don't want to say it. Jiang Yuexin didn't ask anymore. Ji only took a few steps before he said to Jiang Yuexin, "Say, how long are you going to stay with me? I'm going to spend the night here." "Huh? You're going to spend the night here?" Jiang Yuexin was shocked. She had endured long enough, and the smell of blood made her feel very uncomfortable. This guy actually planned to spend the night here? Suddenly, Jiang Yuexin had an idea and said, "Wait, don't you still have a mystic recovery pill? Give me that mystic recovery pill, and I'll give you this." She took out an incense burner from her storage ring and gently placed it on the ground. "What is this?" Looking at the incense burner, Ji Yu asked curiously. "This is a special incense burner. It can attract nearby demon beasts by relying on internal qi, but it can only be used once. What do you think?" Jiang Yuexin explained. This incense burner was naturally brought out by her from the mansion, and its value was not particularly expensive. Although the value of the Mystic Recovery Pill was far less than this incense burner, the Mystic Recovery Pill could give her the power to protect herself, but the incense burner couldn't. Now that she was in a hurry, she had to reluctantly give up this incense burner. Deal. Ji Yu immediately took out the remaining Mystic Recovery Pill from her storage ring and exchanged it with Jiang Yuexin. Jiang Yuexin didn't say anything, directly swallowed the Mystic Recovery Pill, and sat down with her eyes closed. She just wanted to recover her internal qi as soon as possible and leave the Demon Beast Mountain range. After half an hour, Jiang Yuexin slowly opened her eyes, and the internal qi in her body had recovered by more than half. However, at this time, she found that the black-robed youth had left at some point. Recalling the black-robed youth's attitude towards her, Jiang Yuexin couldn't help but lightly clench her teeth. This bastard, this young lady will definitely find you, and when the time comes, I'll let my sister take care of you, Humph. Chapter 14. The next morning, in the demonic beast mountain range. Ji had been hunting demonic beasts in the outskirts of the demonic beast mountain range and had killed quite a few demonic beasts overnight. The alchemy class is in the afternoon. Let's go back now. Ji left the demonic beast mountain range on foot and returned to the Chuyang branch. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The mid-yellow rank profound skill Soaring Cloud Steps has successfully broken through to the perfection stage. Jiu's Soaring Cloud Steps had also broken through to the perfection stage by the time he reached the Chuyang branch. As long as it broke through again, the mid-yellow rank Soaring Cloud Steps will be able to upgrade to a high yellow rank profound skill. Just as he entered the hall, the female receptionist from before came to greet him. Under the lead of the female receptionist, Jiu arrived at a spacious classroom. At this time, there were already quite a few people sitting in the classroom. These were all young men and women dressed luxuriously, most likely young masters and young mistresses of some power. Jiu walked in wearing a black robe. Even if he didn't deliberately hide his face, he still attracted quite a few people's attention. After all, his dressing was still a bit strange. He casually glanced at the people around him, thinking that there were definitely people from the Chun clan among them. But he didn't care, because with his current strength, no one under the defensive profound realm could compare to him. Even if Chun Yin was present, he wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Then, Jiu casually found an empty seat under the podium and sat down, waiting for the alchemy class to begin. Not long after, the classroom gradually became noisy, as if some big shot had appeared. Isn't that the young master of the Lin family, Lin Qitian? He's also interested in alchemy? How is that possible? Don't you know that young Master Lin is interested in Yu Shuyan? He must be here for Yu Shuyan. That's right, Lin Qitian is the #1 martial arts genius of the Lin family. He wouldn't waste time learning alchemy. This time, it just so happens that young Mistress Yu Shuyan is personally teaching, so he's here. Jiu also recognized this Lin Qitian. After all, he had worked as a handyman for the Lin family for a year. There was no way he hadn't heard of who the young master of the Lin family was. This person had outstanding talent and was one of the best in the entire Chaoyang ancient city. It was said that his current martial cultivation was almost the same as Chun Yan's. They were both at body tempering stage 9 perfection and were one step away from entering the defensive profound realm. Lin Qitian acted like he was superior to everyone else. He didn't even look at anyone as if they weren't qualified to be looked at by him. Seeing Lin Qitian's expression, Jiu shook his head. At first, he thought that it was some kind of big shot, but in the end, it was just like that. But for some reason, Lin Qitian walked straight towards him. Kid, this position belongs to this young master. Hearing Lin Qitian's order, Jiu frowned. What's wrong with this guy? Jiu suddenly felt a little baffled. She was sitting here perfectly fine, so why did Lin Qitian come to find trouble with her? This young master will say it again. This position belongs to this young master. This time, Lin Qitian's tone wasn't just an order, but also a threat. It was as if Jiu didn't move away, he wouldn't be polite to Jiu. Seeing this happen, the surrounding people began to whisper to each other. This guy is really pitiful. Coincidentally or not, he's sitting in the seat under the podium. Yeah, that's the first row, right under the podium. Lin Qitian definitely won't let go of that seat for Yu Shuyan. This guy still hasn't moved away. Lin Qitian's methods are not a joke. Many people began to mourn for Jiu. However, Jiu didn't have the slightest fear. She coldly looked at Lin Qitian and smiled. What if I don't? As soon as Jiu's words came out, there was an uproar. This guy actually dares to provoke Lin Qitian. I originally felt some sympathy for him, but I didn't expect him to be an idiot. This kid is finished. He dares to offend the young master of the Lin family. I'm afraid his entire family will be wiped out. In Chaoyang ancient city, there aren't many who dare to talk to Lin Qitian like that. This kid really isn't afraid of death. Lin Qitian's eyes turned cold. Kid, you're courting death. You can try and see if I'm courting death or not. Jiu didn't back down at all. He was now alone and had no worries. Although he had a high status in the Lin family, it didn't affect him much. He already offended a young master of the Chun family, Chun Yin, so he didn't mind offending another Lin Qitian. One more wouldn't be too much. One less wouldn't be too little. Lin Shitian's expression became more and more gloomy. However, just as he was about to let this kid have a taste of his own medicine, a cold voice suddenly came from outside the door. Silence. Following this voice, the crowd quieted down. Even the sound of breathing could be heard. The person who came was a beautiful woman in a white dress. It was the Yu Shuyan that Ji Yu saw last time. Chapter 15. As a number 1 genius of alchemy, Yu Shuyun was now a rank 2 alchemist. Her status in Chaoyang Ancient City was extremely high. No one dared to act rashly in front of Yu Shuyun, so everyone was very obedient. Even Lin Qiqian, upon seeing that it was Yu Shuyun, had no choice but to find another seat with a displeased expression. Yu Shuyun slowly walked to the podium, and her beautiful eyes quickly swept across everyone. She then opened her mouth and said, "Since everyone is here, then the alchemy class will begin immediately. Today's alchemy class will first talk about the basics of alchemy, then we'll try alchemy practice at the end." Everyone present listened to Yu Shuyun's speech quietly. There was almost no noise at all. Hearing that there was no more noise in the hall, Yu Shuyun nodded slightly and continued, "I'm sure most of you have very little contact with alchemy, so I'll start with the most basic things. To become a true alchemist, other than having a strong soul force, you also need to have a high enough talent in alchemy. These are all innate, and it's very difficult to improve through training. I hope everyone understands this point. Next, I'll talk about alchemy. Alchemy is refining pills, and you need to have Xian Qi, fire seed, materials, container, and soul force. These 5 things can be said to be indispensable. At this moment, Ji Yu was also seriously listening to the class. Whether or not he could become an alchemist, it was always better to try. Suddenly, a system notification sounded in his mind. Ding! Master has listened to alchemy class for 1 minute. Alchemy attainment gained experience. Won by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to rank 1 alchemist. Ji Yu's face was filled with disbelief. He had just listened to an alchemy class, and he had become a rank 1 alchemist? At the same time, he felt a large amount of alchemy knowledge enter his mind. He also felt that his soul force had increased. He was shocked again. One had to know that soul force was innate, and it was very difficult to improve it through training. Right now, he only listened to a minute of alchemy class, and his soul force increased. Without a doubt, he should now have the alchemy attainment of a rank 1 alchemist. Ji Yu suppressed the excitement in his heart with difficulty and focused more on the alchemy class. If he continued to listen, he would be able to get stronger. At the same time, Yu Shuyun was also teaching. Let's talk about Xian Qi first. Every martial cultivator has Xian Qi in their body, and alchemy is a very delicate job. Normally, it takes a long time to slowly refine pills. At the same time, alchemy requires Xian Qi to be activated. The entire process consumes a large amount of Xian Qi, so martial cultivation is very important to an alchemist, alchemy, alchemal alchemists. But there are some special alchemy alchemists. Alchemal alchemy. The materials were all kinds of heavenly treasures. If one wanted to concoct pills, one naturally had to prepare the materials needed to concoct pills. Containers are alchemy furnaces, alchemy cauldrons, and the like. You can use whatever you want. It depends on your habits. There is also soul force. Everyone is born with soul force. The strength varies from person to person. It is very difficult to increase one's soul force. I want to explain it here. The specific use of soul force is to identify materials, control the temperature, control the timing of alchemy, and so on. Control of the temperature must be appropriate. If the temperature is too high, all the materials will be wasted. If the temperature is too low, it will make it difficult to condense the pill. Controlling the timing of alchemy is also the same. The timing must be controlled accurately. Otherwise, it will cause a series of problems. Whether it is the control of the temperature or the timing of alchemy, it will affect the success or failure of the alchemy. and these all need to be controlled by soul force. This most basic knowledge has been explained. Next, I will explain to you the various types of alchemy and materials. Yu Shiyun's speech was not fast. Everyone present could hear it clearly. Most of the people were listening very seriously. After all, listening to a beauty's lecture was a different kind of enjoyment. Ji was also very focused. Every minute, there would be a system notification sound in his mind. Ding! Master has listened to alchemy class for 1 minute. Alchemy attainments gained experience. 1 by 999 times. Ding! Master has listened to alchemy class for 1 minute. Alchemy attainments gained experience. 1 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Alchemy attainments has successfully broken through to become an intermediate grade 1 alchemist. Time slowly passed. Yu gradually rose from an inferior grade 1 alchemist to an intermediate grade 1 alchemist. This efficiency was simply too good. His eyes were filled with joy. In the past, he never dared to imagine that he could directly become an intermediate grade 1 alchemist after listening to a few minutes of alchemy class. Feeling a large amount of knowledge entering his mind and the increase in his soul force, you could be sure that everything that was happening was real. Alchemists were clearly divided into grades. From the lowest to the highest, they were divided into grades 1 to 9. There were also 3 grades: inferior, intermediate, and superior. He estimated that it would not be long before he could be promoted to an inferior grade 2 alchemist. On the stage, Yu Shiyun, who was known as the #1 alchemist in Chaoyang Ancient City, was said to be only an intermediate grade 2 alchemist. Chapter 16. The basic alchemy knowledge lesson has ended. The last part is alchemy practice. I will personally demonstrate the alchemy process for all of you. As Yu Shiyun spoke, she waved her hand and a cauldron appeared on the stage out of thin air. Following that, there were many alchemy materials. Ji knew that Yu Shiyun took these things out from her storage ring. Now, I will demonstrate the alchemy process for the gradeless strength pill. As Yu Shiyun refined the pill, she explained in detail to everyone. The first step is to start a fire and warm the cauldron. When the temperature of the cauldron is raised to a certain level, we can begin the second step. The second step is to put the materials needed to refine the strength pill into the cauldron. The third step is to control the temperature of the fire. I have just said the importance of controlling the temperature of the fire. It must be controlled properly. The materials in the cauldron will gradually turn into liquid pills. When all the materials have completely turned into liquid pills, the pills can be condensed. The fourth and final step is to control the timing of the pill condensation. The timing must be precise and not the slightest bit of carelessness. When Yu Shiyun finished explaining the entire alchemy process, she had also successfully refined a cauldron of strength pills. At this moment, there was a soft exclamation from below the stage. Miss Yu Shiyun is indeed the #1 genius in alchemy. Her alchemy skills are so skillful. She is simply comparable to those veteran alchemists. A gradeless pill like this is a piece of cake for her. In just 2 to 3 minutes, a cauldron of strength pills was refined. It's really amazing. How good would it be if I could have Miss Yu Shiyun's alchemy skills? You can continue daydreaming. You will never be able to reach Miss Yu's current level in this lifetime. Even Yu was surprised. However, what surprised him was not Yu Shiyun's alchemy skills, but the sound from the system. Ding! Master has watched an alchemist refine pills for 1 minute. Alchemy attainment gained experience. 1 by 999 times. Ding! Owner has watched an alchemist refine pills for 1 minute. Experience gained in alchemy attainment. 1 by 999 times. Who would have thought that other than listening to lectures, watching others concoct pills would also give him 999 times experience enhancement? This ability was too heaven-defying. Ji felt that she would soon be able to break through and become a superior grade 1 alchemist. It was a pity that Yu Shiyun was able to refine the energy dance so quickly. At the same time, Yu Shiyun opened her mouth and said, I have just demonstrated the entire pill refining process. In conclusion, the first step of heating the furnace and the second step of putting in the ingredients are the easiest. However, the third step of controlling the temperature of the fire and the fourth step of condensing the pill are very difficult. Now, who is willing to come up and try refining pills? Me? Jiyu raised her hand. In fact, he didn't fight for it at all. It was because the others were hesitating that he became the first to volunteer. As soon as he said that, everyone's eyes fell on him. Isn't this the kid who had a conflict with Lin Qitian just now? It's really him. He didn't even hesitate and wanted to be the first to try. It seems like he's really a hothead. I feel that his brain isn't working well. Could it be that he saw Miss Yu successfully refining the energy Dan so easily and thought that this pill is easy to refine? That's right. Anyway, he will probably come down in less than a minute after going up. It won't take much time. Lin Qitian listened to the mocking and ridiculing voices directed at Jiyu from all around, making him feel very comfortable. He looked at Jiyu with a mocking smile and mocked. I think you better not go up and waste your time. The energy Dan isn't something that a trash layman like you can refine. Although he had never come into contact with alchemy, he still knew how difficult it was to refine pills. Even if it was just an ungraded energy Dan, it wasn't something that ordinary people could refine, let alone this poor country bumpkin. Are you so sure that I don't know how to refine pills? Jiyu stood up and glanced at Lin Qitian, who was sitting on the right, and said indifferently. Lin Qitian was slightly stunned and couldn't help but laugh. You can't be saying that you know how to refine pills, right? Not only Lin Qitian, but many people around also laughed. A little brat dares to say that he knows how to refine pills. Is he here to be a joke? This brat is probably an idiot sent by the Choyang branch to ease the atmosphere. I'm dying of laughter. I think this brat isn't an idiot, but a retard. Ha ha ha. Hearing the mocking laughter coming from all around, Jiyu suddenly felt quite speechless. He was too lazy to continue wasting his breath with these guys. Quiet. At this time, Yu Shuyun's cold and pleasant voice came, and everyone immediately shut their mouths. Even if they couldn't speak, they all looked at Jiyu with mocking eyes. These gazes were like sharp knives stabbing Jiyu. Chapter 17. After climbing up the stairs, Jiyu stood beside Yu Shuyun. The ingredients are on the table. Take a set, and you can start refining the energy pill. Yu Shuyun said in a friendly tone. Compared to those fellows below the stage who only knew how to talk, she thought more highly of this young man who volunteered. Although this young man basically had no chance of success, at least he had the courage to try refining the pill. She planned to pay close attention to this young man's refining process later so that she could give the best suggestions and help this young man. Ji didn't know what Yu Shuyun was thinking. At this moment, he had already taken a set of ingredients to the furnace and was preparing to refine the energy pill. Following the steps Yu Shuyun demonstrated earlier, combined with the alchemy knowledge in his mind, he naturally started to warm the furnace. Ding! It has been detected that the owner has started to refine the gradeless energy pill. The success rate has increased by 999 times. Ji was stunned. 999 times the success rate? After a while, he finally reacted. Did this mean that his success rate of refining the energy pill had increased by 999 times? Ji couldn't believe what he heard. If the success rate of 999 times was real, then there was no possibility of him failing. From a beginning until now, the system had never lied to him. This time, the success rate of 999 times should be real too. He already had the alchemy skills of an intermediate grade 1 alchemist. In addition, the success rate had increased by 999 times. No matter what, there was no possibility of him failing. The more Jiyu thought about it, the more excited he got. He didn't have any psychological pressure when refining the pill. Now, he was very casual. When he felt that the temperature of the furnace was about right, he casually threw the ingredients into the furnace. Seeing this, Yu Shuyun frowned slightly. Throwing the ingredients casually like this, wasn't he afraid of causing some negative effects? After that, Jiyu started to control the temperature of the furnace. With the sole power of a medium grade 1 alchemist, this kind of ungraded energy origin pill was not a problem for him at all. He could easily control the flame to the most suitable state. Seeing this, Yu Shiyun's beautiful eyes showed a slight change. As a second-grade intermediate alchemist, she could naturally see that this young man had controlled the flame to an almost perfect state. Was this luck or strength? Compared to the latter, Yu Shiyun felt that the former was more likely. If it was really luck, then it could be explained. It was not possible to rely purely on strength. If it was purely based on strength, one would need to be at least a level 1 alchemist or even a level 1 alchemist to achieve this level. She didn't believe that this young man had the ability to refine pills above the level of a grade 1 intermediate alchemist. Jiyu didn't notice that she had attracted Yu Shiyun's attention. She was still focused on refining pills. After a while, he successfully refined all the ingredients into liquid pills. The moment the ingredients completely turned into liquid pills, he suddenly made a pill condensing hand seal. This pill condensing hand seal was provided by the system when he broke through to become a grade 1 alchemist. It didn't seem to have a grade. It was just a very ordinary pill condensing hand seal. Immediately, an energy origin pill was successfully refined by Jiyu. Following that, a system notification sounded. Ding! Master has successfully refined an energy origin pill. Alchemy attainment obtained experience points, 10 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to become a level 1 alchemist. Ding! It has been detected that Master's refinement of pills has no grade. The energy origin pill is complete. The success rate of refining pills has returned to normal. A familiar feeling came. Jiyu felt that his alchemy level, soul power, and other aspects had improved by leaps and bounds. According to this efficiency, he estimated that he would be able to break through to become a grade 2 alchemist after refining a few more pills. At the same time, a fragrance filled the classroom. After smelling this fragrance, the young men and women in the classroom reacted and were shocked. This fragrance, it's the same as the one that Yu Shiyun gave out just now. This means that this is impossible. That kid actually refined the energy origin pill successfully. How long has it been? Could it be that a gradeless pill is really so easy to refine? I'm going to try it later. I think so too. I think it's because the gradeless energy origin pill is easier to refine. That's why that kid could refine it so easily. These people were not willing to believe that this was Jiyu's real strength. Instead, they all thought that it was because the energy origin pill was easier to refine. Not only that, but Lin Qiqian also thought so. He originally thought that he was going to lose face and was panicking. However, after hearing other people's doubts about the energy origin pill, he immediately calmed down. In the entire classroom, only Yu Shiyun's expression became serious. The performance of this young man in front of her had far exceeded her expectations. Previously, when he controlled the fire, it could still be explained by luck. Now that he had refined the energy origin pill, it couldn't be luck anymore. Because no matter how good his luck was, it was impossible for an ordinary person to refine a pill successfully. This young man's alchemy level was definitely not ordinary. Yu Shiyun gradually started to value Jiyu. She planned to find a chance later to test this black-robed young man's alchemy level. At the same time, she also felt that this alchemy class had become interesting. In the end, this brat would definitely lose. In that case, not only would he not be slapped in the face, he would also be able to properly mock this brat. Only Yu Shiyun's expression did not change. She already had a premonition that this young man had the ability to refine a first-class alchemist. She was not surprised that he would challenge a first-class superior grade elixir. Yu Shiyun did not have the slightest intention of looking down on Jiyu. Instead, she was looking forward to seeing if you could really refine a first-class superior grade elixir. However, she did not reveal her emotions. All right, then I'll let you try the Qing Xian pill. Yu Shuyun waved her hand, and a pile of materials appeared out of thin air. There are a total of 3 sets of materials. If you successfully refine a Qing Xian pill, I can directly apply to the Chaoyang branch to let you become a first-class alchemist. Yu completely ignored the group of people below the stage and nodded slightly at Yu Shuyan. I understand. This woman's attitude and tone made him feel a little surprised. However, he did not think too much about it and directly started to refine the pill. After he started a fire and put in the materials, a system notification suddenly sounded. Ding! Detected that the owner has started to refine the first-class superior grade elixir Qing Xian pill. The success rate has increased by 999 times. Ji could not help but be surprised. He originally just wanted to test his alchemy skills. He did not expect to get 999 times success rate under such circumstances. He could not help but think if he could refine a second-class or third-class elixir, would he be able to get 999 times success rate? With a 999 times success rate, Jiyu immediately became more confident. Then, he started to control the fire with his soul power. The first-class Qing Xian pill was indeed many times more difficult to refine than the strength origin pill. He had to control the fire carefully. Otherwise, the 999 times success rate would not help him. This was because if there was a problem with the fire, the success rate of refining the Qing Xian pill would be 0. Wouldn't it still be 0? In the next half an hour, Ji had been controlling the fire. The speed of the materials turning into liquid was very slow. What's going on? Why hasn't this kid's furnace exploded yet? I think he's controlling the fire very low and is slowly burning the materials. This way, he won't be able to finish it by tomorrow. He's just wasting our time. There's no hope of success at all. I'm speechless. Many people below the stage were already impatient and started to complain softly. Ji did not care about anyone's complaints at all. He was fully focused on the alchemy furnace. After a few minutes, he finally felt that the materials in the alchemy furnace had all turned into liquid. He immediately made a hand seal to condense the liquid into a pill. Then, a Qing Xian pill was successfully condensed. Ding! Master has successfully refined a first-class superior grade elixir Qing Xian pill. Alchemy attainment gained experience, 100 by 999 times. At the same time, many people below the stage instantly smelled a strong pill fragrance. At this moment, they were completely dumbfounded. Chapter 19. Everyone in the audience was so shocked that they couldn't even close their jaws as they looked at Jiyu in a daze. They only felt a great shock in their hearts as their minds went blank and they couldn't say a word. Especially Lin Qiqian. His eyes were full of disbelief as he shook his head in a daze. He murmured, "Impossible! This is impossible!" Even Yu Shuyan was a little surprised, although she had a hunch that this young man might be able to pass the challenge. But that speed just now was still beyond her expectations. Generally, it would take more than an hour for a top grade 1 alchemist to refine a top grade 1 pill, but this young man only used half an hour to successfully refine it. This speed surpassed most of the top grade 1 alchemists. If it was when she was still a top grade 1 alchemist, she would be ashamed of her inferiority to this young man in the same realm. Jiyu took out the successfully refined Azure Profound pill from the alchemy furnace. Just as he was about to take this Azure Profound pill to Yu Shuyan for inspection, Yu Shuyan spoke first. "You don't need to let me look at it. You have already completed the challenge, so this Azure Profound pill is yours, and the remaining 2 materials are also for you." "Thank you." Jiyu thanked her. This Azure Profound pill and the remaining 2 materials could be said to be a generous gift. They were truly worth 1,000 gold. Originally, these things should be returned to Yu Shuyan. After all, these things originally belonged to Yu Shuyan, but now Yu Shuyan gave them to him for free. Such a generous gift. How could he not be grateful? No need to be so polite. I will soon help you apply for a top grade 1 alchemist's identity. Come with me later. Yu Shuyun said. Yes. Jiyu nodded. Today's alchemy class is over. Everyone can disperse. Yu Shuyun said lightly, then got up and left the classroom. Jiyu immediately followed. The rest of the people were still sitting there in a daze. Obviously, they haven't recovered from the shock just now. Jiyu silently followed behind Yu Shuyun. Not long after, he followed Yu Shuyun into a room. This room looked like it was used to receive guests. Yu Shuyun flicked her sleeves and elegantly sat down. She stretched out her hand and said, "Sit as you please." Okay. Jiyu was not too reserved and casually sat on a chair. "Please tell me your name and age. When I help you apply for the alchemist's identity, I will need it." Yu Shuyun talk. She went straight to the point. Jiyu, 16 years old. Jiyu's answer. Jiyu? For a short moment, Yu Shuyun's name. However, she realized that she had no impression of the name Jiyu at all, which meant that she had never heard of this name before. Not only that, she had never heard of a family with the surname Ji. In the next moment, she determined that the name Jiyu was a fake name. Yu Shuyun believed that the youth in front of her deliberately used a fake name, not wanting to reveal his real name. In her opinion, this youth was only 16 years old, but he already had the skills of first-grade alchemist. It was impossible for him to be a lone martial artist. Talent was important, but the power he belonged to was also very important. If a genius only had talent, but didn't have a power to discover this genius, then this genius could only become a commoner. Yu Shuyun deeply understood this point, so she determined that this youth had used a fake name. Yu Shuyun would never have thought that not only was Jiyu's real name, but he also didn't have any power behind him. At this time, Jiyu didn't know what Yu Shuyun was thinking. She only heard him ask, then, "Does Miss Yu have anything else to say?" Yu Shuyun said without changing her expression, "I want to know when you started to learn alchemy. Is it convenient for you to tell me?" About a year ago. Jiyu didn't think too much and casually made up a lie. If he said that he had only started to learn alchemy today, it would be too much of a lie. No one would believe him. He couldn't possibly reveal the system, right? So he could only casually make up a lie. Only a year? Yu Shuyun was slightly surprised, but then she praised, "Your talent in alchemy is very good. You've only been learning alchemy for a year, but you've already reached the level of a first-grade alchemist." "Miss Yu is too kind," Jiyu said modestly. In fact, he really wanted to curse in his heart. How could this be considered good talent? "Then I hope you can reach the level of a second-grade alchemist as soon as possible. When the time comes, I have a very important matter to ask of you." Yu Shuyun's tone suddenly became a little solemn. Then she added, "Of course, I won't be stingy in terms of remuneration. We'll talk about it when you become a second-grade alchemist." Although he was a little confused, Jiyu still nodded. The other party had already given him a lot of benefits. As long as it was something he could do, he didn't mind helping. Moreover, the other party also said that he would be rewarded when the time came. Then it's settled. From tomorrow onwards, you'll have a real identity as a first-grade alchemist. When the time comes, you must remember to come to the Chaoyang branch to get your alchemist badge. That's a symbol of your identity. Yu Shuyun said, "Sorry to trouble you, Miss Yu. I'll take my leave first." There was nothing else, so Jiyu left the room. Looking at Jiyu's back as he left, Yu Shuyun's beautiful eyes flickered a little. Chapter 20. In Chaoyang Ancient City, in front of the Lin family's gate, a luxurious carriage slowly approached. "Second miss, we have arrived at the Lin family's gate." The driver seemed to be talking to the person in the carriage. A small head popped out of the carriage and looked around. This person was the second miss of the mayor's mansion, Jiang Yueshin. At the same time, in the Lin family's meeting hall. "What did you say?" "The second miss of the mayor's mansion came to our Lin family." A middle-aged man with an extraordinary temperament exclaimed. "It's true, master." The person on the other side was an old servant. That middle-aged man was obviously the current master of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan. After hearing the old servant's words, Lin Zhanshan fell into deep thought. Why did the second miss of the mayor's mansion, who had never visited the Lin family before, suddenly come today? Did something happen? At the moment, Lin Zhanshan couldn't care too much. He immediately instructed the old servant. Quickly send someone to prepare. I will personally go and welcome Miss Jiang. Yes. The old servant obeyed and left. Lin Zhanshan also quickly walked out of the meeting hall. The second miss of the mayor's mansion actually came to the Lin family. This was a very big deal. Although the Lin family was one of the three great families in Chaoyang Ancient City, there was another power that had a transcendent status, and that was the mayor's mansion. The mayor's mansion controlled the entire Chaoyang Ancient City, and the Lin family didn't dare to offend them. Otherwise, why would the master of the Lin family personally come out to welcome a little girl? Soon, Lin Zhanshan arrived in front of the gate. He looked at Jiang Yuexin, who was walking down from the carriage, and said with a flattering smile, Miss Jiang, why did you suddenly come to my Lin family today? You're the master of the Lin family. Lin Zhantian? Jiang Yuexin didn't hold back at all. That's me. Lin Zhanshan maintained his smile. Although the other party didn't give him face, he didn't dare to complain. I came to the Lin family today to see someone, Jiang Yuexin said calmly, but there was a hint of arrogance in her eyes. Lin Zhanshan was slightly stunned. He did not expect Jiang Yuexin to come here to look for someone. He then asked, Who does Miss Jiang want to see? Jiang Yuexin thought for a moment, then replied, Who is the #1 martial arts genius of the Lin family? He's the person I'm looking for. The #1 genius of our Lin family? Miss Jiang is referring to my son, Lin Qitian? Lin Zhanshan asked in shock. Yes, it should be him. Jiang Yuexin nodded without hesitation. She thought for a moment. With that bastard strength, he was definitely the #1 martial arts genius in the Lin family. But the name Lin Qitian didn't sound good to her. Lin Zhanshan was delighted. Miss, please come to the Lin family first. My son, Lin Qitian, went out and hasn't returned yet, but he should be back soon. The second miss of the mayor's mansion wanted to see his son, Lin Qitian. This was good news for the Lin family. In his opinion, this Miss Jiang must have taken a fancy to Lin Qitian's talent and was interested in him, so she came to see him. If Lin Qitian and this Miss Jiang could be a couple, the Lin family would be able to climb up the mountain of the mayor's mansion. Then, the Lin family would be able to soar to the top. Okay, Jiang Yuexin followed Lin Zhanshan into the Lin family mansion. There were several guards in black following behind her. Chapter 21. Not long after Jiang Yuexin entered the Lin mansion, Ji Yu returned to the Lin mansion. However, he did not see Jiang Yuexin and walked straight to his residence. Although he had offended the Lin family's young master, Lin Qitian, he did not take Lin Qitian seriously and continued to come and go as he pleased. After a long time, Ji Yu arrived at his residence. Once he entered the room, he sat on the bed and took out a primary strength pill and an azure mystic pill from his storage ring. He could not wait to eat the azure mystic pill. He was looking forward to how much this first-grade pill would increase his cultivation base. However, Ji Yu still planned to eat the ungraded energy pill first as an appetizer before eating the main event, the azure mystic pill. After eating the primary strength pill, Ji Yu did not feel any obvious increase in his cultivation base. This was because his current cultivation base was higher, so the primary strength pill that did not even have a grade would not have much effect on him. However, he did not pay much attention to it. After all, the primary strength pill was only an appetizer. The azure mystic pill was the main dish. Ding! Master has consumed a Qing Xin pill. Martial arts cultivation experience gained. 3,000 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of body tempering stage level 8. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of body tempering stage level 8. Feeling the increase in his cultivation base, Ji Yu was very satisfied. The azure mystic pill did not disappoint him at all. Now that my cultivation base has reached the peak of body tempering stage level 8, I'm just one step away from breaking through to body tempering stage level 9. That bastard Qinyan's cultivation base is at the peak of body tempering stage level 9. If I refine 2 more azure mystic pills and consume them, I should be able to crush him. Jiyu thought to himself. Then, he took out a cauldron and some alchemy materials from his storage ring. This cauldron was the one from the alchemy class. It was also given to him by Yu Shuyan. As for the alchemy materials, they were the materials needed to refine the azure mystic pill. Without wasting any time, Jiyu immediately began to refine the pills. At the same time, in the meeting hall of the Lin Mansion, Jiang Yuexin seemed to be a little impatient from waiting. Without the slightest trace of politeness, she questioned Lin Zhanshan. Where did that guy go? Why hasn't he returned after so long? Miss Jiang, I only know that Qi Tian went to the Chaoyang branch to attend an alchemy class. I'm not sure why he hasn't returned yet. The smile on Lin Zhanshan's face was a little forced. No matter what, he was still the head of the family. To be treated like this by a junior was really embarrassing. If the other party was not the second miss of the City Lord's mansion, he would have been enraged. He forced himself to endure and continued. However, he has already left for more than 2 hours. He should be back soon. Lin Qitian walked back to the Lin mansion with soulless eyes. Suddenly, he saw an old servant running towards him. Young master, hurry up and go to the meeting hall. The City Lord's mansion's second miss is looking for you. The old servant hurriedly shouted. What? Lin Qitian was stunned when he heard this. The City Lord's mansion's second miss. That Jiang Yuexin? Why is she suddenly looking for me? Could it be that she has taken a liking to me? Other than this, Lin Qitian couldn't think of any other reason. This was because he had never seen that Jiang Yuexin before, nor did he have any interactions with her. Thinking that Jiang Yuexin might have taken a liking to him, Lin Qitian's originally gloomy mood quickly disappeared. Although he had never seen Jiang Yuexin before, he had seen Jiang Yuexin's older sister, Jiang Yuechu. With Jiang Yuechu's peerless appearance, as her sister, Jiang Yuexin shouldn't be too bad either. Anyways, as long as it was a beauty, he would be happy. Lin Qitian immediately quickened his steps towards the meeting hall. He couldn't wait to see how beautiful Jiang Yuexin was. Not long after, Lin Qitian arrived at the meeting hall. Other than his father, there was also a pink dress girl and some black-clothed people in the hall. Father, I'm back. Lin Qitian first said to Lin Zhanshan. Qitian, you're finally back. Lin Zhanshan said with a smile. He then introduced to Jiang Yuexin. Miss Jiang, this is my son, Lin Qitian, the #1 martial genius of our Lin family. When Lin Zhanshan said this, Lin Qitian's gaze immediately fell on the pink dress girl. This was Jiang Yuexin? Her appearance wasn't bad. Lin Qitian's eyes flashed with a trace of undetectable greed. If he could get this Jiang Yuexin, that would be great. However, Jiang Yuexin seemed to have caught Lin Qitian's gaze. A trace of disgust appeared on her delicate face as she said, The person I'm looking for isn't this lecher. Not him. Lin Zhanshan said with a surprised expression, but he is indeed the #1 martial genius of our Lin family. There is no one else. After saying this, he glared at Lin Qitian. For Miss Jiang to call him a lecher, it must be Lin Qitian's problem again. Lin Qitian's neck shrunk slightly. He didn't expect Jiang Yuexin's eyes to be so sharp. But that wasn't the main point. The main point was what was going on. It sounded like Jiang Yuexin came to the Lin family to find the #1 martial genius. But wasn't the #1 martial genius of the Lin family him? I remember very clearly that it's definitely not him. Although that guy is a bit of a bastard, at least he's much more handsome than him. Jiang Yuexin didn't hold back and said whatever she wanted to say. She couldn't help but wonder if that bastard lied to her and wasn't from the Lin family at all. Chapter 22. Lin Zhanshan was speechless and didn't know what to say. Lin Qitian's face was also a bit ugly. She was clearly saying that he was ugly. Lin Zhantian forced a smile on his face and asked, Then can Miss Jiang describe his appearance in detail? If he is really someone from the Lin family, I can help you find him. Appearance, his face is quite handsome. He looks around 16 or 17 years old. The most special thing is that he always wears a strange black robe. Jiang Yuexin thought carefully and said. Lin Zhantian thought for a while and shook his head. Our Lin family doesn't have such a person. Lin Qiqian also thought for a while. 16 or 17 years old, always wearing a black robe. Wait. At this moment, he almost blurted out, "It can't be that brat, right?" Hearing Lin Qiqian's sudden exclamation, Jiang Yuexin immediately asked, "Do you know that guy?" "I know one, but he shouldn't be the person Miss Jiang is looking for. He's only talented in alchemy, but he can't be the #1 martial genius of our Lin family." Speaking of that person, Lin Qiqian's face was very strange, and his heart was full of resentment. Talented in alchemy? Jiang Yuexin frowned slightly. That bastard's martial strength was very strong. Normally speaking, his alchemy skills couldn't be as strong. Maybe it really wasn't the same person. But no matter what, she still wanted to see him first. She said, "Go find him for me. I want to see him." It will take a lot of time to find him. During this time, Miss Jiang, Lin Qiqian said with a bit of difficulty. "During this time, I will stay in your Lin family until you find that guy." "What? Do you have a problem with that?" Jiang Yuexin said coldly. "No problem. Of course no problem." Lin Qiqian was very uncomfortable, but he could only smile. After that, Lin Zhanshan went to arrange accommodations for Jiang Yuexin and the others, leaving Lin Qiqian alone in the meeting hall. His expression was extremely ugly. He had just been slapped in the face in alchemy class, and now he had to submit to Jiang Yuexin. He felt extremely humiliated. As a young master of the Lin family, when had he ever suffered such grievances? Since he couldn't touch Jiang Yuexin, he planned to vent all his resentment on that brat. Even if Jiang Yuexin didn't say anything, he would find out who that kid was. Once Jiang Yuexin confirmed that the brat was not the person he was looking for, he would make that brat pay a painful price. At this time, Ji was still refining the Azure Mystic Pill. She had no idea what was going on in the meeting hall. Ding! Master has successfully refined a Qing Xian pill. Experience gained in alchemy, 100 by 999 times. In less than an hour, Ji Yu had successfully refined an Azure Mystic Pill. This time, his alchemy technique was much more skillful than the first time he refined the Azure Mystic Pill. The entire alchemy process was much smoother, and even the time it took was much shorter. He could guarantee that the next time he refined the Azure Mystic Pill, he would be even better. First, because successfully refining an alchemy pill would greatly increase his alchemy skills. Second, because the more he refined the Azure Mystic Pill, the more proficient he would naturally become. Ji was not in a hurry to consume the Azure Mystic Pill. Instead, she began to refine the second set of ingredients. When the time came, it would be more satisfying to consume the 2 Azure Mystic Pills together. This time, it took less time than before. Ji Yu only used about 40 minutes to successfully refine the Azure Mystic Pill. Just like that, 2 high-quality Azure Mystic Pills appeared in Ji Yu's hands. Without any hesitation, she swallowed the 2 Azure Mystic Pills together. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. Following the breakthrough of his martial cultivation from the perfect stage of the 8th level of the body tempering stage to the late stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, Ji Yu instantly felt the profound energy in her body explosively increase. It was obvious that the higher the cultivation, the harder it was to break through. Consuming 2 high-quality first-grade Azure Mystic Pills together only allowed her to break through 3 small realms. It seems that I still have a long way to go before I can break through to the defensive Mystic Realm. Ji Yu thought to herself, but with my current cultivation, it is enough. As long as I use my profound skills, I will be able to crush Chun Yan. Chapter 23. A body-tempering realm martial artist comprehension and acceptance were limited. Although Chun Yan was the eldest young master of the Chun family, his cultivation was still in the body-tempering realm. He would definitely be unable to cultivate a superior yellow rank profound skill. Even a middle yellow rank profound skill would be difficult for him to cultivate. However, Ji was completely different. She didn't need to learn a profound skill, as the system itself came with a profound skill that could be upgraded. Currently, he had 2 middle yellow rank profound skills that would soon be upgraded to superior yellow rank. Furthermore, he was at the late stage of the 9th level of the body-tempering realm. Even if Chun Yan's cultivation was at the peak of the 9th level of the body-tempering realm, he wouldn't be a match for him. Since I want to strengthen my profound skill, I'll make a trip to the martial arts field. Ji muttered to herself as she walked out of the room and headed to the martial arts field. Not long after, Ji arrived at the Lin family's martial arts field. This was a martial arts field specially built by the Lin family for all the Lin family disciples to cultivate. At this moment, there were many Lin family disciples on the martial arts field. Some were cultivating basic techniques, some were cultivating fist techniques, and some were gathered together to brag. Ji didn't greet anyone as she prepared to cultivate her profound skill. Ding! Master has used Soaring Cloud Steps. Soaring Cloud Steps obtained experience. 50 asterisk 999x. The moment he used the Soaring Cloud Steps, his figure disappeared from his original spot and appeared not far away in the next moment. This shocking speed attracted the attention of many Lin family disciples on the martial arts field. F***CK. Did you guys see that? That guy's speed is so fast. I saw it too. That guy moved so far away in the blink of an eye. He should have used some kind of yellow rank profound skill. When did our Lin family have such a powerful person? Why haven't I seen him before? The surrounding Lin family disciples were all shocked. When they saw Ji Yu's true appearance, a small portion of them suddenly recalled something. Wait, I've seen this youth before. He seems to be a servant of our Lin family. You're not joking, right? With such strength, how could he be a mere servant? It seems to be true. I also remember that he was a servant. I used to ask him to do things. Many people immediately began to argue about this matter. However, Ji didn't care about these people in the slightest. She continued to use Soaring Cloud Steps to strengthen her movement technique. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank medium-grade profound skill Soaring Cloud Steps has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding! It has been detected that the middle yellow grade mystical skill, Soaring Cloud Steps, has been fully upgraded to the high yellow grade mystical skill, Ling Tian Steps. After an unknown amount of time, Ji finally upgraded the mid-yellow rank Soaring Cloud Steps to a high yellow rank profound movement skill. During this period of time, almost all of the Lin family members in the martial arts field had forgotten about their own cultivation and were constantly looking at the black-robed youth. This was the first time they had seen someone who could move at such a fast speed. Furthermore, he didn't stop at all. Why does he keep flashing here and there? Could it be that he's cultivating some sort of profound movement skill? He must be using some sort of profound movement skill. Under normal circumstances, it's impossible to be as fast as him. Even if he's cultivating a movement skill, it's still too scary. Not to mention how high the level of the movement skill he's using is, he's still not exhausted even after using it so many times. His martial cultivation is definitely not ordinary. The main point is that he's also a servant of our Lin family. I really don't understand why he wants to be a servant of our Lin family. The surrounding Lin family members were discussing about Ji Yu. They didn't know that Ji Yu had already broken away from the status of a servant. At the same time, Ji Yu's movement skill had already been upgraded to the high yellow grade. He finally stopped. He planned to first rest and recover the profound qi in his body before starting to cultivate his fist technique. After about half an hour, Ji Yu felt that he had more or less recovered and prepared to start cultivating his fist technique. During this half an hour, not a single Lin family member dared to disturb him. At most, they would sneak a few glances or whisper a few words in private. After that, Jiyu stood up and walked towards a wooden stake. The people standing around the wooden stake all consciously dispersed. They instinctively had a sense of awe towards the strong. The following scene completely stunned them. They saw the black-robed youth throw a punch. With a pong sound, the entire wooden stake was instantly smashed into pieces. At this moment, all of the Lin family members present were flabbergasted and dumbstruck. They didn't dare to believe what they had just seen. Just one punch was able to smash the wooden stake into pieces. The wooden stakes in their Lin family's martial arts field were specially made of extremely hard materials. In the past, there was basically no Lin family member who was able to damage the wooden stakes. It was said that only geniuses at the 9th level of the tempered body stage could cause damage to these wooden stakes. But this black-robed youth actually smashed the wooden stake into pieces with one punch. Didn't this mean that this youth's martial cultivation was at least at the 9th level of the tempered body stage? Chapter 24. Jiyu had used all of his strength in this 7-strength fist, but he didn't expect that he would accidentally break the wooden stake. He didn't know if he would be asked for compensation. Forget it. Since I've already broken one, I'll continue. Jiyu couldn't be bothered to care so much and continued to walk to the next wooden stake. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The middle-grade yellow rank profound skill 7-strength fist has successfully broken through to perfection. Another punch smashed the wooden stake. At the same time, Jiyu's 7-strength fist had also reached the perfection realm. As long as it broke through again, it would automatically upgrade to a high-grade yellow rank profound skill. Now, he had already smashed 2 wooden stakes, followed by the 3rd, 4th, 5th, until Jiyu used his fist to smash more than half of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field. Many of the surrounding Lin family disciples suddenly reacted. Wait, why is this guy still destroying the wooden stakes? Is this guy crazy? He has no intention of stopping at all. Could it be that he wants to destroy all the wooden stakes here? Hurry up and stop him. If we are discovered, we will all be in trouble. Damn it, you make it sound so easy. Why don't you try stopping him? Everyone knew the severity of the matter, but no one dared to go forward and stop the black-robed youth. Even the sturdy wooden stakes couldn't withstand a single punch from a youth. If they rashly ran up, they would probably break apart. At this moment, a scolding voice came from behind them. Why are you all standing there in a daze? Why aren't you going to practice martial arts? A tall and sturdy middle-aged man walked over. When the Lin family disciples saw that it was Manager Lin, they immediately opened their mouths. Manager Lin, quickly look. That guy has already destroyed more than half of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field. That's right. With that guy doing this, we won't be able to properly practice martial arts. We also want to stop him, but we can't beat him. Hearing these complaints, the tall and sturdy middle-aged man called Manager Lin frowned and raised his head to look at the black-robed youth. In the next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. He originally thought that these fellows were exaggerating. How could anyone destroy the wooden stakes in the martial arts field? However, the reality in front of him was that most of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field had turned into debris. You brat, stop! The burly middle-aged man came back to his senses and immediately rebuked the black-robed youth. Jiyu chose to ignore the burly middle-aged man's voice because he felt that his 7-strength fist was about to break through to the greater perfection realm, which meant that it could be upgraded to a superior yellow rank fist technique. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank medium grade 7-strength fist has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding! It has been detected that the middle yellow rank profound skill 7-strength fist experience bar is full. It has been automatically upgraded to the upper yellow rank profound skill stone-breaking fist. Seeing that this brat dared to ignore him, the burly middle-aged man angrily walked towards Jiyu. Didn't you hear what I said? Scram. Jiyu spat out 2 words. You. After being provoked by a little brat time and time again, the burly middle-aged man could no longer bear it. You little brat, see how I'll take care of you. He slapped towards Jiyu, only to see that Jiyu executed the stone-crushing fist at even faster speed. Because Jiyu's speed was too fast, the burly middle-aged man was unable to react in time. In the next moment, the burly middle-aged man flew a few meters away and crashed onto the ground, unconscious. At this moment, the surrounding Lin family members were scared silly. They were very clear that Manager Lin had a cultivation at the perfect 8th level of the body tempering stage, but he was knocked down by a single punch from the black-robed youth without the slightest chance to retaliate. At this moment, Jiyu looked at the burly middle-aged man on the ground without a trace of pity in his eyes. Those wooden stakes weren't valuable, and he could pay for them at any time. But this guy just had to come looking for trouble. Wasn't he just asking for trouble? Now that the fist and movement profound skills had both been upgraded to superior yellow-level profound skills, Jiyu didn't plan to continue staying here and slowly left. Jiyu walked out of the Lin family mansion and prepared a stroll around the streets. Not long after he left the Lin family mansion, he suddenly discovered a man pasting something on the wall. He curiously walked over to take a look and shockingly discovered that it was a portrait of himself. The portrait on the wall was exactly the same as him, and below it was a bounty of 1,000 gold coins. This was clearly a bounty poster. Jiyu frowned and immediately used the cloud-soaring steps to arrive in front of the man who had just pasted the portrait. He directly grabbed the man's neck with one hand and coldly questioned, "Who ordered you to put this up?" The man looked at Jiyu with a face full of fear and stuttered, It's young Master Chunyan." After obtaining the answer, Jiyu immediately exerted some force. With a crack, the man's neck was directly broken by him. This person was obviously Chunyan's lackey, so he naturally wouldn't let him off so easily. At this moment, Jiyu's eyes turned gloomy and fierce. "Damn you, Chunyan. You're really trying to kill us all." Chapter 25. Fortunately, Jiyu had the 999 times cultivation system, so he had nothing to fear. The bounty was only marked with a bounty of 1,000 gold coins. This kind of bounty could only attract some lone warriors with small strength at most. Any martial cultivator with some influence or strength would not be interested in this kind of bounty. Moreover, with his current strength, unless it was a defensive profound realm expert, no one would be able to pose a threat to him. Jiyu wished he could kill Qin right now, but there were so many experts in the Chun clan that he couldn't just barge into the Qin clan. The only thing he could do now was to increase his strength while looking for a suitable opportunity. If it really didn't work out, he could wait until he was strong enough to go against the entire Chun clan and then settle the score with Chunyan. A gentleman's revenge was never too late. Strength was the true king. At this time, Jiyu was no longer in the mood to go shopping. He planned to return to his residence and cultivate in seclusion. At the same time, Lin Shiqian had already sent people to investigate the identity of the black-robed youth. He was now waiting for news. "Young master, I found out the identity of the black-robed youth." At this time, a middle-aged man barged in. Lin Shiqian's eyes lit up. "Speak." The black-robed youth's real name is Jiyu. He was adopted by an ordinary family when he was young. A year ago, he came to our Lin family and became a servant. A few days ago, he was no longer a servant. Recently, he has been active in our Lin clan, the middle-aged man said. Lin Shiqian was slightly startled. He didn't expect that kid to be related to the Lin family. "Then what's his cultivation level?" Lin Shiqian continued to ask. "A year ago, when he came to our Lin family, he was only at the 2nd level of the body tempering stage. It seems that he had just broken through to the 3rd level of the body tempering stage." The middle-aged man thought for a moment before replying. "All right, you can leave." Lin Shiqian nodded and said indifferently, "Yes." The middle-aged man immediately left the place. Not long after the middle-aged man left, Lin Shiqian suddenly laughed. "Ha! So it's a piece of trash." At the same time, he was certain that this brat was definitely not the person that Jiang Yuexin was looking for. After all, the person that Jiang Yuexin mentioned seemed to possess a very high level of martial arts. It was impossible for him to be a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage. At this moment, a sinister look flashed in his eyes, as if he was scheming something. At this very moment, Ji was cultivating her profound energy in her own room. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the door. Ji, right? The head of the Lin family wants you to go to the discussion hall. He said that the second miss of the city lord's estate is looking for you. The person outside the door seemed to leave as soon as he finished speaking. Ji immediately withdrew from her cultivation state, and a trace of doubt flashed in her eyes. Why did that little girl, Jiang Yuexin, suddenly come to find him at this time? He walked out of the room and headed for the meeting hall. Not long after, Ji arrived at the Lin Mansion's meeting hall. She saw that there were only two people in the meeting hall, Lin Qitian and Jiang Yuexin. Ji first looked at Lin Qitian, only to see that Lin Qitian was looking at her with a ridiculing gaze. Jiang Yuexin also saw Ji walking in. She immediately revealed a joyful expression and said, "You bastard, you're finally here." At this moment, Lin Qitian was dumbfounded. This wasn't right. This brat was clearly a trash. Shouldn't the person that Jiang Yuexin was looking for not be this brat? Why did you come to find me? Ji expressionlessly asked. You're really boring. Seeing Ji's expression, Jiang Yuexin shook her head and sighed. Then, she took out a white card from her bosom. Here, this is the 2,000 gold coins that I owed you last time. This time, I'll pay you back in full. Ji took the white card and was a bit surprised. I didn't think that you would take the initiative to pay me back. If Jiang Yuexin didn't mention this matter, he would have forgotten that she still owed him 2,000 gold coins. Really, what kind of person do you think this miss is? Jiang Yuexin wrinkled her nose and unhappily said, No matter what, this miss won't go so far as to not pay back. Yes, 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 Ji casually said. Hearing Ji and Jiang Yuexin's conversation, Lin Qitian's expression became more and more strange. He didn't think that this brat would not only know Jiang Yuexin, but also have a good relationship with her. Now, he couldn't make a move on this brat. If you don't have anything else, I'll go back first. Ji put the white card in his pocket and said to Jiang Yuexin, Don't be in a hurry to go back. This mist had come to find you for something else. Jiang Yuexin said, I'm going to the Demon Beast Mountain Range to collect some medicinal herbs. I want you to go with me. Sorry, I can't help you with this. Ji shook his head almost without hesitation. Chapter 26. Why? Don't you like to hunt demonic beasts in the Demonic Beast Mountain Range? Jiang Yuexin asked, unable to understand. Do you still need to ask why? I don't want to bring a burden along. Ji said without hesitation. Kid, it's your fortune that Miss Jiang is willing to bring you to the Demonic Beast Mountain Range. Don't be so shameless. At this moment, Lin Qitian couldn't help but interrupt. He really couldn't stand it anymore. Even he had to be obedient in front of Jiang Yuexin, but this kid dared to speak so impudently to Jiang Yuexin. Not to mention that he felt unbalanced in his heart. If this kid said something wrong and angered Jiang Yuexin, then the entire Lin family would suffer calamity. You don't have the right to speak here. Scram to the side. Ji said coldly. Lin Qitian suddenly became angry and was about to flare up. But he heard Jiang Yuexin echo. That's right, that's right. You don't have the right to interrupt when we're talking. This time, Lin Qitian was completely dumbfounded. He was clearly speaking up for Jiang Yuexin, but Jiang Yuexin not only didn't appreciate it, but also scolded him along with the kid. He felt more and more strange. This kid was so impudent, but Jiang Yuexin didn't seem angry at all. What was the relationship between this kid and Jiang Yuexin? Lin Qitian still didn't believe it and continued. Miss Jiang, I think you shouldn't invite this kid. This kid is purely a martial arts trash and won't be of any help to you. Why don't I accompany you to the Demonic Beast Mountain Range? When Lin Qitian said this, before Ji could say anything, Jiang Yuexin said with a displeased face, What? You said he's trash? She had seen Ji's strength with her own eyes. She admitted that she was much weaker than that guy. But this Lin Qitian actually said that guy was trash. Didn't that mean that she was worse than trash? What else? This kid is just a trash at the third level of the body tempering stage. It's embarrassing to say it out loud. Lin Qiqian said with disdain. After hearing Lin Qiqian's words, Jiang Yuexin's expression gradually turned somewhat strange. He's a trash at tempered body third layer? Jiang Yuexin looked at Ji Yu strangely. Ji Yu just smiled and didn't say anything. Wasn't this bastard at least at the 9th level of the body tempering stage? When did he become a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage? Seeing Ji Yu's expression, Jiang Yuexin seemed to have understood something. This bastard must have tricked Lin Qiqian. She immediately thought of something interesting and said to Lin Qiqian, "You said he's trash, right? But I'm not as strong as him. So you're saying I'm not even trash?" Lin Qiqian wanted to say yes, but when he heard Jiang Yuexin's words, he felt that something was wrong and quickly shut his mouth. His entire body was frozen. For a moment, he couldn't react to what was going on. If he said yes, it would offend Miss Jiang. If he said no, he felt that something was wrong. He didn't know if he should say yes or no. After a while, Lin Qiqian suddenly reacted. Ji Yu, that brat, is clearly a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage. Then why did Miss Jiang say that he was calling him trash? Lin Qiqian clearly remembered that the eldest miss of the City Lord Mansion was the #1 martial genius in the entire Chaoyang ancient city. The second Miss Martial Talent was only second to the eldest miss. Logically speaking, Jiang Yuexin's strength shouldn't be inferior to Ji Yu's brat. The more Lin Qiqian thought, the more he couldn't understand. What was going on? Seeing Lin Qiqian's foolish appearance, Jiang Yuexin almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. But she didn't plan to continue joking. Her expression was normal as she said to Lin Qiqian, "I'll let you off for speaking rudely to me. You don't have to do anything now." Then she turned to Ji Yu and said, "Let's go, Ji Yu." Ji Yu didn't say anything and followed Jiang Yuexin out of the hall. He didn't want to stay with Lin Qiqian anymore. Even after Jiang Yuexin and Ji Yu left, Lin Qiqian was still wondering how he had offended Miss Jiang. Chapter 27. What do you think? I help you to tease that guy. Don't you have anything to say? Walking on the road, Jiang Yuexin asked Ji Yu. In Ji Yu's eyes, this guy was like a child asking for praise from his parents. He thought for a moment, then put his hand on Jiang Yuexin's head and patted it. He praised, "Yes, yes, you are very good." Jiang Yuexin was stunned and didn't react for a while. The next moment, she quickly slapped away Ji Yu's hand and pointed at Ji Yu with shame and indignation. You, don't treat me like a child." Although that feeling, she didn't hate it. "Didn't I do as you said?" Ji was a little confused. This was clearly what the other party asked. "I don't want you to touch my head. I want you to go with me to the Demon Beast Mountain Range." Jiang Yuexin said, "So you're talking about that? You should have said it earlier." Ji Yu said helplessly. Jiang Yuexin couldn't help trembling with anger. This bastard touched her head inexplicably. Why did he make it seem like she was wrong? Okay. I will go with you to the Demon Beast Mountain Range," Ji Yu said with a smile. After what happened in the conference hall just now, his perception of Jiang Yuexin had changed a little. He felt that this guy was not as annoying as before. Instead, he felt that this guy was quite cute. It just so happened that he could go to the Demon Beast Mountain Range to hunt demon beasts and earn more gold coins. In the future, when he had enough gold coins, he could buy materials to refine elixirs and sell them. This kind of profit was very high. He could earn a lot of gold coins very soon. That's good. The anger on Jiang Yuexin's face disappeared in an instant and was replaced by joy. "Then I will come to you tomorrow. Where do you live?" Seeing how Jiang Yuexin's expression changed so quickly, Ji Yu couldn't help but sigh. Women really change their expressions faster than flipping a book. He pointed in a certain direction. "Go straight down this road and stop in front of a small forest. Then turn right. After a while, you'll see a small thatched hut. That's where I live." "A small thatched hut? You actually live in such a place?" Jiang Yuexin had a look of disbelief on her face. "I seriously suspect that you're lying to me." With this guy's ability, she didn't believe that this guy would be willing to live in such a place. Why would I lie to you? After thinking about it, Jiyu is too lazy to explain. Forget it. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. All right, I'll trust you this time. Jiang Yuexin still chose to believe Jiyu. Even if this guy was really lying to her, she could find this guy at any time. It was just that it was relatively more troublesome. Then I'll go back first. After speaking, Jiyu walked back to his residence. Soon after, Jiyu returned to his residence. He sat on the bed and recalled what happened earlier. From his observation, that Lin Qitian should have already sent people to investigate his background. But no matter how much they investigated, it was practically impossible to know his performance in the Demon Beast Mountain range. That was why they said that he was a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage. Moreover, from the fact that Lin Qitian didn't mention Chen Yan, he guessed that that guy probably didn't know about Chen Yan's actions. Thinking up to here, Jiyu couldn't help but coldly smile. That dog Chen Yan really hit it well. There probably wasn't a third party in the entire Chaoyang city who knew about that dog's murder and robbery. After pondering for a while, Jiyu didn't find any key clues. Thus, he didn't think about those things anymore and prepared to continue cultivating his profound qi. Ding! Master cultivated the martial Dao for 1 minute. Martial Dao cultivation obtained experience points, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Master cultivated the martial Dao for 1 minute. Martial Dao cultivation obtained experience points, 1 by 999 times. An entire night had passed. Although his cultivation still hadn't broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, Jiyu could feel that his current cultivation had stabilized by a lot. Recently, he had been using medicinal pills to increase his cultivation. Although the system minimized the drawbacks of using medicinal pills, the drawbacks accumulated, causing him to feel that his cultivation was slightly unstable. Thus, it was necessary to stabilize his cultivation from time to time. It's already morning. I'll go to the Chaoyang branch and get the alchemist badge first. Jiyu opened his eyes and looked out the window as he muttered to himself. Chapter 28. Chaoyang Ancient City, Chaoyang Branch. A man in a black robe walked out of the Chaoyang branch. He was none other than Jiyu. He had already received his alchemist badge. There was a badge with a purple star engraved on it. The number of stars represented the alchemist grade. The color of the stars represented low grade, mid grade, and high grade. For example, white represented low grade, blue represented mid grade, and purple represented high grade. Therefore, the badge with a purple star engraved on it in Jiyu's hand symbolized that he was a first-grade superior alchemist. After becoming a first-grade superior alchemist, he would be able to enjoy the corresponding benefits. He had just received a lot of alchemy materials from the Chaoyang branch. Furthermore, he would be able to enjoy a discount when trading pills in a place like the Chaoyang branch. After returning to the thatched cottage in the Lin mansion, Jiyu immediately took out the alchemy furnace and a pile of alchemy materials from his storage ring. These alchemy materials were given to him by the Chaoyang branch for free. They could be used to refine various low-grade and mid-grade elixirs. Jiyu immediately started a fire and placed a set of materials into the alchemy furnace. Ding! It has been detected that Master has started to refine the low-grade elixir Mystic Recovery Pill. The success rate of refining pills has increased by 999 times. About 10 minutes later, a profound returning pill was successfully refined by him. Jiyu then continued to refine other elixirs. Since these elixirs were all low-grade and mid-grade elixirs, he was able to refine them quickly and easily. In just over an hour, he had finished refining all the elixirs. Ding! Congratulations, Master! Your alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to a second-grade inferior alchemist. After Jiyu finished refining all the elixirs, his alchemy attainment had also been upgraded to a second-grade inferior alchemist. His alchemy skills and soul power had also increased tremendously. He looked at the elixirs that he had refined. 5 of them were for cultivating celestial qi, while the other 3 were for recovering celestial qi, he casually grabbed the 5 pills used to cultivate Xian qi and directly stuffed them into his mouth. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your martial Dao cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. Jiyu originally thought that these 5 elixirs would allow his cultivation to break through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, but it stopped at the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. However, he could feel that he was just a little bit away from breaking through from the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. It was just a matter of time. Dong, dong, dong. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Immediately after, a voice sounded. Jiyu, I'm here. Jiyu knew that the person was Jiang Yuexin. She slowly walked over and opened the door. As soon as the door opened, a cute little head poked in. Wow, you actually live in a place like this. Jiang Yuexin exclaimed. Didn't I tell you? You just didn't believe me. Jiyu said, wait outside for a while. I need to prepare something. After speaking, Jiyu walked back in the house to prepare, but Jiang Yuexin directly followed her in. He glanced at Jiang Yuexin, who walked into the house behind him, but didn't say anything. Jiang Yuexin looked around the entire thatched house and said in surprise, I didn't expect your house to be so clean and simple. Speaking of which, why don't you live in a better place? I'm used to living here, Jiyu said indifferently. At this moment, he was putting away the pill furnace and the remaining 3 profound returning pills into his spatial ring. When Jiang Yuexin saw this, she suddenly recalled that Lin Qitian said that this guy's talent in the Tao of alchemy was very high. She asked curiously, so you're a pill master. Your talent in the Tao of alchemy should be very high, right? It's just SOSO. Jiyu said casually. TSK. I knew you would say that. Jiang Yuexin looked at Jiyu with disdain. I'm ready. We can go now. At this time, Jiyu said, then let's go. With that, Jiang Yuexin followed Jiyu out of the thatched house. After a few steps, Jiang Yuexin said again, don't you want to cover your face with a black robe first? Jiyu looked at Jiang Yuexin with a slightly changed expression. It seems that you already know. Of course, this young lady is not blind. Now the streets are full of wanted posters for you. Jiang Yuexin said, since you already know, you still dare to be with me? Jiyu said while covering his face with a black robe. Why wouldn't I dare? Jiang Yuexin said proudly. Although I don't know what happened to you, it has nothing to do with me inviting you to the Demon Beast mountain range. What's more, as the second young lady of the City Lord's mansion, she doesn't need to put the Chun family in her eyes. Jiyu couldn't help but smile softly. That's true. Jiang Yuexin suddenly seemed to be keenly aware of something. Did you just smile? No. You must have smiled. Take off your black robe, and let me see. I said no. Don't make trouble. Chapter 29. At this moment, Jiyu and Jiang Yuexin had arrived at the Demon Beast mountain range. Speaking of which, I still don't know what kind of medicinal material you want to collect. At this time, Jiyu suddenly thought of something and asked. It's a kind of purple sungrass, which usually grows next to swamps. Jiang Yuexin said. Purple sungrass. Jiyu thought for a moment. This was a relatively precious medicinal material, which was the main ingredient needed to refine some second-grade medicinal pills. But speaking of swamps, he remembered that there were not many swamps in the outer area of the Demon Beast mountain range. I remember that there are no swamps in the outer area of the Demon Beast mountain range. Did you go deep into the inner area? Jiyu asked. Yes, but the swamps are located at the junction of the outer area and the inner area. It's more dangerous, so I deliberately want to find you. Jiang Yuexin said. Speaking of which, I've been wanting to ask for a long time. Aren't you the second miss of the City Lord Mansion? Why don't you ask those powerhouses of the City Lord Mansion to accompany you? Ji said. No, Jiang Yuexin suddenly said excitedly. Her face was slightly pale, and she struggled to shake her head. They can't. Noticing that Jiang Yuexin's state was very strange, Jiyu immediately knew that he said something wrong, but he couldn't understand why Jiang Yuexin was so excited. After a while, Jiang Yuexin realized that she was wrong, but her expression was still a little depressed. Sorry, I just lost my composure. Okay, let's not talk about this. Let's hurry to the swamps. Jiyu immediately changed the topic. Although he didn't know what happened to Jiang Yuexin, he felt that it was better not to ask. Jiang Yuexin tried to calm her emotions. Along the way, Jiyu and Jiang Yuexin encountered all kinds of rank 1 beasts. All of them were taken care of by Jiyu. Not only did her heaven-trampling steps and stone-breaking fist reach the initial success stage, but she also obtained a lot of demonic beast materials. After another 10 minutes, they finally arrived at their destination. In front of them was a huge swamp. The trees on all sides had withered, giving people a feeling of death. We'd better be careful. Not far ahead is the intersection between the outer and inner regions. If we're unlucky, we might encounter a rank 2 monster beast. Jiang Yuexin said as she looked ahead warily. Yes. Ji nodded. A rank 2 demonic beast was equivalent to a human cultivator in the defensive profound realm. As long as a random rank 2 demonic beast appeared, they would have to flee. Unless it was a demonic beast that had just broken through to the first stage of 2nd grade, Ji might be able to contend against it. After all, a rank 1 monster beast and a rank 2 monster beast were like the body-tempering realm and the defensive profound realm. There was an insurmountable gap between the two. I see purple sungrass. At this moment, Jiang Yuexin exclaimed softly. Jiyu followed Jiang Yuexin's gaze and saw a stalk of purple sungrass standing firmly at the edge of the swamp. Without waiting for him to speak, Jiang Yuexin quickly walked over. Wait! Jiyu wanted to stop Jiang Yuexin, but it was too late. Oh no! Jiyu cursed in his heart. This was because he sensed an extremely strong demonic aura in the swamp. There was definitely an undefeatable existence hidden in the swamp. At this moment, Jiang Yuexin had already walked to the edge of the swamp and reached out to pluck the purple sungrass. In the next moment, a huge gray python with red stripes all over its body rushed out from the swamp, opening its bloody mouth and charging towards Jiang Yuexin. Jiang Yuexin was dumbfounded when she saw the gigantic mouth coming at her. Her smile froze on her face. Luckily, Jiyu's reaction was fast enough, and he immediately used the Ling Tian steps. In the blink of an eye, Jiyu appeared next to Jiang Yuexin in a flash. She quickly carried Jiang Yuexin in her arms and performed the heaven-trampling steps again to escape. At this moment, Jiang Yuexin finally regained her senses. Due to the huge shock, not only did she not realize that Jiyu was carrying her in a princess carry, she even used her hands to hug Jiyu's neck tightly. Jiyu originally thought that he had escaped safely, but found that the red striped python's speed was shockingly fast, chasing after him relentlessly. He gritted his teeth with an ugly expression. This red-striped python was obviously a 2nd-grade demonic beast, and it was not an ordinary 2nd-grade demonic beast. It was an existence that he could not fight against at all. Furthermore, he was still carrying Jiang Yuexin, so his speed was more or less affected. It was extremely difficult for him to completely escape from this red-striped python. But no matter what, Jiyu could not just stand there and wait for death, so he continued to use the Ling Tian steps to escape. Jiang Yuexin seemed to have realized that she was being carried by Jiyu, but she did not struggle. Instead, she tried to relax her body to reduce the pressure on Jiyu. After escaping for an unknown period of time, Jiyu had even forgotten how many times he had used the Ling Tian steps, but he was still unable to escape from the red, striped python's pursuit. Jiyu, put me down. At this moment, Jiang Yuexin said with a sorrowful expression. However, Jiyu completely ignored her and focused on escaping. To be honest, if this continues, we will both die. Why don't you let me, a burden, hold it back? At least you can escape. Jiang Yuexin still did not give up on her idea. She took out the purple sungrass and continued. I only have one last request. I hope that you can give this purple sungrass to my sister. I will not leave you behind. Jiyu looked ahead with a serious expression and said this with a heavy tone. Jiang Yuexin was slightly stunned, then said with a struggling expression, "Don't joke around. If this continues, you'll also die." "Don't worry, neither of us will die," Ji said in a low voice. This was because he could feel that his Ling Tian steps was about to break through to the mastery level. Once he broke through to that level, his speed would definitely be faster than the red-striped python behind him. After hearing Ji Yu's words, Jiang Yueshi knew that no matter what she said, this guy would not listen. She sighed sadly in her heart. She immediately regretted bringing Ji Yu to the Demon Beast mountain range. The current situation was all her fault. Chapter 30. Ding. Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank superior profound skill Ling Tian Steps has successfully broken through to the mastery stage. After using the Ling Tian Steps for God knows how many times, the system finally strengthened the Ling Tian Steps to the realm of mastery. Ji Yu was immediately overjoyed. Now he could shake off the giant python behind him. Ding. Master has used Ling Tian Steps. Ling Tian Steps obtain experience. 100 999x. After using the Ling Tian Steps again, you could clearly feel that his speed was much faster than before. Jiang Yueshin, whose cultivation wasn't weak, also faintly felt this. She turned her head to look at the giant python behind her and was shocked to find that Ji Yu was getting further and further away from it. Her delicate face immediately revealed a trace of disbelief, and her beautiful eyes shone with a strange light. The strength that Ji Yu displayed once again shocked her. She suddenly felt that this youth in front of her was as mysterious as a bottomless pit, and she would never be able to see through this youth. Hope was rekindled, but Ji Yu's profound qi was about to be overdrawn. With some difficulty, he said to Jiang Yueshin, "I don't have enough profound qi in my body. I'll take out the profound returning pill from my storage ring, but I'll have to trouble you to feed it to me." As he spoke, he used his spiritual power to take out a profound returning pill from his storage ring and placed it in Jiang Yueshin's hand. Jiang Yueshin looked at the profound returning pill in her hand, and a strange idea suddenly appeared in her mind. She put the profound returning pill in her mouth, and a faint dark red color appeared on her delicate face. She slowly leaned towards Ji Yu's lips. Ji Yu, who was completely focused on escaping, didn't notice Jiang Yueshin's appearance. Only when he felt a cool sensation on his lips did he realize that Jiang Yueshin was actually holding the profound returning pill in her mouth and feeding it to him. In reality, Jiang Yueshin and Ji Yu's lips didn't directly touch, but even so, Ji Yu is still shocked. Ding! Master has consumed an inferior grade 1 pill, the Xian returning pill. Xian Qi recovery effect has increased by 999 times. The moment Ji Yu ate the profound returning pill, the profound qi in her body was instantly restored. It was also at this time that he heard the system notification that he came back to his senses. Now that he was in danger, he had no time to think about Jiang Yueshin. He forced himself to focus his attention in front of him. Seeing Ji Yu's shocked expression just now, Jiang Yueshin covered her mouth and snickered, but the blush on her face showed that she was actually even more shy. Even if they didn't touch directly, it was still an indirect kiss. She didn't know why she suddenly became so bold. Originally, she just wanted to tease this guy. Ji Yu continued to use the heaven trampling steps. Occasionally, she would turn around to look, but she could no longer see the giant python's figure clearly. Just as he was about to heave a sigh of relief, he suddenly realized that there was no road ahead. He hurriedly stopped running. In front of him was a cliff. When he looked down, he couldn't see the bottom. Ji Yu's expression immediately became ugly. Just as he thought that he could survive, the heavens played a small joke on him. He couldn't turn around now, because behind him was that second stage giant python. In front of him was a bottomless abyss, and behind him was a powerful demonic beast that he couldn't resist. There was no way to escape now. Ji Yu, where do we run now? Jiang Yueshin anxiously asked. She also didn't expect that there would be a cliff here. Ji was silent for a moment, then he put Jiang Yuexin down. Under Jiang Yuexin's bewildered gaze, he fearlessly rushed down the red-striped python. Since there was no way to escape, Ji decided to fight this red-striped python to the death. He instantly flashed to the red-striped python's side and used the 7-strength fist to smash the red-striped python's head. With a pong sound, Ji shockingly discovered that his full-strength fist didn't cause any obvious damage to the red-striped python's head. He only saw a small dent. The red-striped python's reaction was extremely fast. Its bucket-sized thick tail swept towards Jiyu's waist at an extremely fast speed. Jiyu's pupils suddenly contracted, but because the difference in strength was too great, he couldn't dodge in time and forcibly received the red-striped python's sweep. Pooh! Jiyu immediately felt as if his waist was cut in half, and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His figure flew out and directly flew over the cliff. His consciousness gradually blurred. He could only hear the system beep in his mind, but he couldn't hear Jiang Yuexin's heart-wrenching screams. Ding! Master's body has suffered heavy injuries. Basic defensive mystic skill experience gained. 9 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Basic defensive mystic skill has successfully broken through to greater heights. Ding! It has been detected that basic defensive mystic skill experience is full, automatically upgraded to the yellow rank lower mystic skill, thick earth armor. Chapter 31. Jiang Yuexin screamed at the top of her lungs, but she didn't hear any response from Jiyu. She didn't hesitate to hug Jiyu, but the impact was too strong. She couldn't stabilize her body and fell down the cliff together with him. The moment he fell down the cliff, Jiyu suddenly woke up. He felt that the injuries on his body had healed quite a bit, and his consciousness was gradually coming back. It seemed to be because of the system's voice just now. Right at this moment, Jiyu suddenly realized that he was carrying Jiang Yuexin in his arms, and they were falling down the cliff at an extremely fast speed. He wanted to change the direction of his body's fall, so he tried his best to lean against the cliff and reduce the speed of his fall as much as possible. Ding! Protagonist has used thick earth armor. Thick earth armor gained experience. 20 by 999 times. Jiyu instantly used the low yellow rank defensive skill he just obtained, which could reduce the damage he received. Ding! Master's body has received damage. Thick earth armor gained experience. 1 by 999 times. Ding! Master's body has received damage. Thick earth armor gained experience. 1 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor has successfully broken through to small success. With the help of the low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor, Jiyu's back had been rubbing against the cliff, but he didn't receive too much damage. At most, it was just some superficial wounds. Right at this moment, he suddenly saw a huge rock protruding not far from him. He could land on it. Jiyu immediately used his hand to press down on Jiang Yuexin's head and slightly curled up his body. Jiang Yuexin was stunned for a moment. Although Jiyu's actions were a bit rough, that warm chest made her feel at ease. She could almost hear Jiyu's heartbeat, which made her heart beat faster. When he was about to fall onto that huge rock, Jiyu immediately used thick earth armor in an attempt to reduce his injuries. With a pung sound, Jiyu's back fell onto the rock. Other than a slight pain on his back, he didn't receive too much damage. But his waist that was heavily injured by the red pattern giant python was very painful, making it difficult for him to get up. The waist was the core of the human body, so every movement would affect the waist. Thus, Jiyu's back was lying on the rock without any movement to avoid unnecessary pain. Jiang Yuexin got up from Jiyu's embrace. Looking at Jiyu's pale face, she could not help but laugh as she cried, "You're really a hopeless bastard. Let me rest a bit first." Jiyu felt extremely exhausted. A wave of drowsiness hit her, and she gradually closed her eyes. Wait! Jiang Yuexin immediately turned pale with fright and shook Jiyu's shoulder. "You mustn't die." Jiang Yuexin's shaking and the constant system notifications in his mind woke Ji up. Right now, his body was still very weak, so Jiang Yuexin's shaking could cause slight damage to him. He immediately opened his eyes and bitterly smiled. "Stop shaking. I'm not dead yet. If you keep shaking me like this, I'll really die from you." Jiang Yuexin realized that she was in the wrong. She immediately apologized. "I'm sorry. I just need to rest a bit. I'm too tired right now." Ji guessed that Jiang Yuexin had misunderstood him, so he immediately explained. Too many things had happened before, and his waist was heavily injured. Right now, he was both mentally and physically exhausted. "Okay." Jiang Yuexin nodded as she wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. Seeing that Jiang Yuexin's emotions had stabilized, Ji immediately closed his eyes and continued to rest. Jiang Yuexin looked at Ji sleeping face, and her heart suddenly skipped a beat. Her face suddenly turned slightly red, and she slowly moved closer to Ji face. She gently held Ji's head with her hands, placed her legs under the back of Ji's head, and then slowly placed the back of Ji's head on her thighs. Chapter 32. After an unknown amount of time, Ji gradually woke up from his sleep. The moment he regained consciousness, he suddenly felt a warm and soft sensation at the back of his head. It was as if he was lying on a comfortable pillow, but he didn't know why, but there was also a warm sensation. He slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a long and slender leg. At this moment, Ji couldn't help but be stunned. For a moment, he couldn't react to what had just happened. Then he turned his head and found that he was lying on Jiang Yuexin's lap. He slightly frowned and carefully thought about it. He didn't remember doing this before he fell asleep. Could it be that he climbed onto her lap after he fell asleep? The hell? Thinking of this, Ji couldn't remain calm. At the same time, Jiang Yuexin, who was originally dozing off, felt her leg itch. Then she found that Ji had woken up. "Ji, you're finally awake." Jiang Yuexin was overjoyed. Seeing Jiang Yuexin's expression, Ji's first reaction was to be very surprised. Logically speaking, Jiang Yuexin should be embarrassed and angry to see him lying on her lap, right? However, Ji didn't say anything and sat up with a calm expression. He could still feel the pain from his waist. It was probably an internal injury that was difficult to heal, but at least it was much better than before. Speaking of which, here, just as Ji was about to ask something, she suddenly saw a pitch-black cave behind her. He looked at the gray sky again and helplessly said, "It seems that we can only spend the night in this cave." Spend the night. Realizing that she and Ji were going to spend the night in a dark cave, Jiang Yuexin couldn't help but let her imagination run wild. He saw her face become redder and redder, and soon it became as red as an apple. However, perhaps Ji didn't notice it, or perhaps she didn't care at all. She continued to walk into the cave. Let's explore the entire cave first, in case we get ambushed by demonic beasts while we sleep at night. Yes. Although Jiang Yuexin was very shy, she could only follow Ji inside. There was no light in the cave. The later Ji and Jiang Yuexin walked in, the darker the surroundings became. In the end, they couldn't see anything clearly. "Do you have anything on you that can give off light? It's too dark in here," Jiang Yuexin said timidly, grabbing Ji's sleeve with one hand. "What's wrong? You're already so old, and you're still afraid of the dark?" Ji couldn't help but complain. "How is that possible? I'm just not used to it," Jiang Yuexin said stubbornly, but her slightly trembling legs betrayed her. Ji shrugged helplessly and said, "I don't have anything on me that gives off light. Just follow me carefully and don't spread out." "Yes," Jiang Yuexin whispered. She didn't look anywhere. She just grabbed Ji's sleeve and followed Ji closely. Suddenly, a drop of water fell from above. Ji's consciousness was very sharp. He instantly noticed this drop of water. Although he knew that this drop of water was completely harmless, he still subconsciously tilted his head, completely avoiding this drop of water. Drip! In the next moment, only the sound of water falling to the ground could be heard. The sound should have been very soft, but in this silent cave, it was very loud. Coincidentally, this drop of water fell in front of Jiang Yuexin's feet. She thought that something was going to attack her and immediately screamed. Not only that, she also subconsciously hugged Jiyu tightly. "It's just a drop of water. What are you afraid of?" Jiyu said somewhat speechlessly. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.